McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes,
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 19th, 2020, and we begin right meow. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. What an NFL Sunday we had yesterday. There was a couple blowouts. There were some massive comebacks, and the day was headlined by Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having a massive dub over the incredibly hot, incredibly talented Green Bay Packers squad that traveled down to Tampa Bay and were up 10-0 until our guy, one of the hosts of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers, threw a ball a little bit behind Devontae Adams. It was pick six, and then that was all she wrote. 38 straight points against the Green Bay Packers for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gronkowski seemed to be back. Tom Brady looked like he was feeling it, and that Todd Bowles defense down in Tampa was absolutely humming. And a lot of people were asking, is Aaron Rodgers going to come on to my show tomorrow? Is Aaron Rodgers going to own what happened tomorrow? I would assume this. Aaron Rodgers knew, well, maybe not. Maybe did think he was going to go undefeated. We all knew whenever we set up this day or set up this show that there was a solid chance he was going to lose a game and he was going to have a conversation with us. Only the 1972 Dolphins went undefeated. But how will this conversation go tomorrow? I'll tell you where I'm going to lead it with. You can't do 3 pumps.
Oh, jeez.
You just can't do it.
Can't do it.
Hingle McCringleberry told us that on Key and Peele, and we learned that very quickly. But the football gods saw Aaron Rodgers do 3 incredibly long pumps, by the way. I don't know if everybody else saw that. 3 pumps, and he was immediately punished after that. I'm going to ask him about the 3 pumps. I'm going to ask him if he thinks that is potentially what turned off the football gods, or was it just the fact that sometimes shit just doesn't work. That's just what happens. Now, granted, did we judge Josh Allen on a Tuesday night too quickly whenever sometimes something didn't happen? Of course. Will we do the same to Aaron? No way in hell. And is that fair? Absolutely not. But Aaron Rodgers has proven time and time again that they can lose a game, a la last year, coming off a bye week, which would have been a nice little piece of information to have maybe before this weekend from our friend Gumpy, who drops these absolute nukes. Last week they lost like 20, or last year they lost after the bye week like 28-7 or something like that. What did they do after that? 6 straight dubs all the way into the NFC Championship game. The question on whether or not the Packers have been in this place before is yes, they have. The question on whether or not they'll be able to bounce back is answered with yes, they can. This Packers team is still very talented. Yesterday, they just ran into an ass beating from the Buccaneers that were very good, and we'll talk to Aaron about it all day tomorrow, 3rd hour. Cannot wait for it. A lot of other things happen in the NFL. Obviously, the Patriots are dead.
Jesus. Yeah,
Patriots are dead. Jesus. They lost to Brandon McManus. Not even the Denver Broncos. They lost to a kicker who just had one of the biggest days in the history of kicking, especially whenever you talk about going into Foxborough and hitting a couple 50-yarders and then 4 more to win against the New England Patriots in the dynasty. And the interesting stat of this whole thing is the Patriots loss was Bill Belichick's first loss as Patriots head coach when not allowing a TD because they didn't let up a touchdown. They were giving up field goals, which I thought was potentially going to be a problem because the Patriots, if you get a chance to score on them, you have to take advantage of it. That's been the story for the last 20 years. I'm assuming it's not going to change now. Field goal after field goal after field goal. We all assumed, okay, the Patriots are going to come back and win this thing. We thought that whenever they were down 6 or whatever going into their final drive, there's no chance that Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, and Ernie and Josh McDaniels don't just walk down the field here and then they kick the extra point and get a win in a game they're not supposed to get. But instead, they have an incompletion, a la something that they haven't had in a long, long time in those types of situations, and they lose in Cam Newton's first game back. A couple trick plays and other things like that, but people are asking, especially Patriots fans, does this team stink? stink.
Oh, come on.
Is this a new day in Foxborough?
Please, no.
Bill Belichick didn't give much, obviously, in his press conference afterwards, but I would assume that at Cam Newton, who had to miss a game, right, because he was sick, or not sick, but had COVID, and Stephon Gilmore, maybe they were off just a little bit. And maybe just like Aaron Rodgers, maybe it was just a bad game. And maybe Cam Newton will return to form next week for the New England Patriots, or maybe he won't. And maybe it will be Stidham time, but I don't think it's time to panic. It's overreaction Monday, but at Boston Connor, who is a Patriots fan, is overreacting in a massive fashion, basically saying the team stinks.
Yeah,
and that is kind of hard to listen to be honest with you, because even outsiders aren't turning on the Patriots yet, but it does feel like massholes are turning on the Patriots. Why is that?
Well, it's difficult. All these times we start 2-2, that's the Patriot way. Don't start 2-3 though. Usually we turn it on after that second loss. It's not good. We got to go 8-3 the rest of the way. And when you look at the schedule, there's some very iffy moments there. Still got to play the Bills twice.
Well, and the Bills play tonight on Monday Night Football, which, by the way, we have another back-to-back Monday night, which is awesome. One game at 5, one game at 8. You got the Cardinals, Cowboys, you got the Bills, and the Chiefs. Patty Mahomes taking on Josh Allen. And there's a lot of conversation who can throw the ball further. I believe they both think they can. Patrick Mahomes once threw a ball out of a stadium over there in Kansas City, and Josh Allen allegedly can just throw the ball further than Troy Aikman has ever seen a human throw a football before. Troy Aikman, by the way, and Joe Buck, so incredibly good. And they're calling to get one of the games today, I believe. I'm not sure which one. But the thing about Troy Aikman, whenever he starts talking, I really, really like what he's saying. Okay? I love what he's saying. I think Joe and Troy are criminally underrated as a broadcast pairing. You want to know who I've turned on completely? Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
Get him out!
Listen, I was big Tony Romo, Jim Nantz booth fan. Big fan. Last 2 weeks, we've had some bad moments in that thing, though. Last week, he thought it was a cramp. Wasn't a cramp. I like being positive. I respect it, but just probably lay off there in that particular moment. This week, he started questioning whether or not he liked Mapletron. Hey, quick update, Tony. Nobody gives a fuck if you like it. Okay, the kid already has a trademark. He's already selling merch. I literally put out a tweet yesterday that said, Chase Claypool, very good at the football. The first 200 responses were Mapletron. Mapletron likes it, so nobody gives a fuck if you like it, Tony. Hate to break it to you, pal. And this is just coming weeks after they thought they created CEH as a nickname for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I understand Tony Romo knows the game inside and out, but there's been a couple things that he has said that it makes me go, Tony, nobody gives a fuck, Tony. But he's still better than a lot of the people that are on TV, so I guess we have to do that. So maybe I should kind of relax, but that's not what Overreaction Monday is all about. Let's get to it. At Tone Diggs is here. That game that Tony Romo and Jim were calling yesterday, Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns. We thought there was a chance that this was the best Cleveland Browns team coming into Pittsburgh in a long time. They had lost 16 straight in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, 23-2-1 against the Brownies, and yesterday it was a slaughtering tone. You had to be basking in Jergens yesterday while watching that entire operation.
Yeah, I was very happy, not only for that, but 2020 has been a wild year. A lot of unexpected things, but Earth is finally healing, because you can tell, because the Browns are still the same old Brownies. They fucking stink, dude. They'll always stink. They'll never be good. I mean, little brother came into town and got their fucking ass whooped.
All right, so we say Aaron Rodgers just had a mishap. Josh Allen last week just had a mishap. With the Brownies, though, you're not even thinking about that, strictly because in the AFC North, especially with what Lamar Jackson is doing, and the pundits and the conversation, the people that do the same exact job that we do, they're asking the question, are the Baltimore Ravens too much of Lamar Jackson? It's like, yeah, that's what their team is, dude. You don't remember they got rid of everybody? They brought in like 3 tight end sets. They are just setting up for Lamar Jackson. And he gets a win against Philadelphia, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are hot. Cincinnati Bengals, they're up 21-0 on the Colts or whatever. They're going to be able to figure it out. That AFC North does not have time for you to have any hiccups right now.
No.
And the Cleveland Browns took their best team in there, and it feels like that was not a good outcome, but maybe they'll be able to bounce back. That Steelers team looks very good, though. That defense is unbelievable. The Steelers have had 3+ sacks and an interception in every single game this season. Wow. That is a winning recipe, and it doesn't feel like they're slowing down, by the way. If you watch that Pittsburgh Steelers-Cleveland Browns game yesterday, the thing that I noticed was the D-line, TJ, Cam, Dupree, Alu, which, by the way, I guess he was a first
Tyson,
round.
yep.
I guess he was a first round pick years ago, and now he's like really coming into his own. There's an entire crew. They're all competing against each other to get sacks. It's not like we hope we get a sack, because there's some teams that get like 1 sack a game, and it's like, okay, we're off and running here. That D line is like, no, we all need to at least get 1 here. They're all eating, and it's next level. And the things that I enjoyed yesterday, a little bit dirtbag football. I think some people from the outside would say, but I think anybody that played in the NFL would say, like, yeah, that's what we do. Every D lineman, every time they tackled Baker yesterday, was punching him in the ribs while tackling him. He had bruised ribs going into the game. Cam Hayward had a sack yesterday where I think he dove with both of his fists like this right into his ribs. Then there was another sack late in the game. Bud Dupree was holding him up. TJ Watt came in, bang, trying to punch out the ball, obviously. They hit his ribs more than any quarterback's been hit, and that team looked defeated the entire day. I think it was 17-zip early, very quickly. There was a pick 6 maybe in the second series. I mean, that thing was over very quick, and there was no let up. Mason Rudolph, the man who got his helmet taken off his head and bashed with it last year, he even got in at the end of the game to do a little victory lap celebration. There was no fight with Myles Garrett, but the Cleveland Browns are very much opening up for the discussion that they are the same old Brownies, Tone. They're the same old Browns, it feels like.
I mean, they were doing it for Myles, so they must hate Myles a lot in that locker room, apparently. But no, yeah, it was just from top to bottom. I mean, some people were talking about, where's Minka? Minka first series, pick 6 to the house.
Who was saying that, by the way? Ryan Clark last week.
So, yeah, he did potentially say that last week, but I mean, that just happens. But no.
Hey, by the way, Ryan Clark holding people accountable, and all of a sudden they get a pick 6 in the second series all of a sudden.
3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, they were getting absolutely stuffed on all of those. I mean, Devin Bush injury is very bad. It's very, very bad. But other than that, offense looks incredible. Steelers are in a good spot.
Did lose a couple players yesterday, potentially to ACLs around the NFL. Devin Bush, allegedly, no, he definitely tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Taylor Lewan, I don't think it has been officially announced. Friend of the show, not 100% host of Bussin' with the Boys. Not 100% sure if he has a torn ACL. His tweet has said basically keep it moving or whatever. We're positive around here. But I do believe that in 2020, we're at a time. Now, I know the doctors are kind of focused on other things right now, right? Sure. Doctors are trying to, create the entire vaccine thing, all that stuff. Right. But I think at some point here in the near future, because if you look just, 10 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, the ACL injury was a career ender. Like, hey, it is over. You tore your ACL. Now it's become a surgery where it's definitely a season ender, but you'll be back by next. At some point, the ACL is no longer just going to be a season ender, right? At some point, the super docs are going to be able to figure out a way just to pop another one back in there, maybe rub it a little bit, smack it, and get them back in there. Because as soon as you hear ACL, it's like, done for. It'd be cool if in the near future that was no longer. Because anytime you hear somebody tears their ACL, you're like, well, that team is mightily affected for the rest of the season all of a sudden. Taylor Lewan for the Tennessee Titans. Now, granted, he was out and in overtime. Derrick Henry played quarterback and just ran over the Texans. But that's a massive loss, I would assume, if he is out. Locker room wise, on the field wise, everything like that. And Devin Bush, that defense is unbelievable in Pittsburgh, losing a very, very big piece of it. I mean, that is tough. And maybe doctors, maybe down there at UPMC in Pittsburgh will be able to figure out the little ACL surgery.
Well, Bob Spillane came in and played great, so we're not worried about it. We're not too concerned about it.
He had some interesting tats, didn't he? If I do recall, whenever I saw him come in, I think he's got the old barbed wire.
Nice.
He's slow as shit, but he hits like a dump truck.
That was Nick Morota. We watched the game together yesterday at my house because he just moved into a new house, didn't have TV, so he came over.
Hey,
congrats on that.
Nick.
Thank you.
That Steelers game, though, I mean, it was a total ass beating. And at Ty Schmidt, you saw the ass beating from the different perspective yesterday. How did the day come to you? How was that game watching it? Was it heartbreaking, terrible, or did you just like, this is kind of something that happens?
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers said it after the game. They needed to get their asses kicked. They needed kind of a snap of reality. So, I mean, they looked good early. They were up 10-0. I think if Rodgers doesn't throw that pick, they may end up steamrolling, Tampa Bay. But it is what it is. I'm not going to overreact. I mean, if you do want somewhat of an overreaction, I think that defense still fucking stinks. So that could be an issue going forward. But, I mean, it's one game. Hey, guess what? That's the NFL, baby. You're not going to have, pocket aces every week. Tom
Brady and Byron Leftwich did seem to absolutely stump Mike Pettin. I mean, Rob Gronkowski, if that's going to be the Rob Gronkowski for the rest of the year, problematic for the NFC South. He was getting targeted. He was making big plays. I don't know why he spiked it with his left hand.
It's been a while.
What's going on there?
You know, a year out of the game, he might be thinking, you know, a lot of people were talking about how I could only spike with my right hand. Now that I'm back, I should probably try spike with my left.
Oh, so it's like the Gronk spike 2.0.
Exactly. Trying to prove people.
I will say that thing is going to have to make up some time to get to that Gronk spike on the right, because you got to remember, people have been spiking footballs for decades. It's called the Gronk spike. Like, he kind of just took it completely over. Like, people are like, oh, that's the Gronk spike or whatever. Now he moves it to his weaker hand. That thing's going to have to get going, but it might be a 2.0. Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure. But that Buccaneers team, defense, looked really good at the football.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing. Rodgers was under duress all day. He got hit more in that game than he has all season so far. Hopefully, Bakhtiari's not hurt for a long time. He went down, and the O-line kind of was just in disarray after that. But, I mean, hey, you know what? Turn around, make some corrections, and go get a win next week.
The YouTube comment section is telling us that Gronk said his shoulder on his right side was banged up. So the commitment to the spike still remains. He said, hey, can't do it on this arm, I'll do it on this arm. Even more so, Gronkowski's back. And remember, there was a couple times just a couple weeks ago where Bruce Arians said he's a tight end. Like, yeah, we got wide receivers. What do we even throw tight ends for? And then the stats of the amount of touchdowns that Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski have together, he's like top 3 in NFL history, top 4 in NFL history. Whenever you see that stat, which, by the way, I forgot about. I completely forgot about them being that high when it comes to a touchdown duo or whatever. When you see that stat and you think back to the thought that they weren't going to have him catch balls, you immediately go, what a fucking dumb situation that was. But then once you see Tom Brady easily targeting Gronkowski, there was only a matter of time before Bruce, Byron Leftwich, everybody in Tampa was like, we should probably just go ahead and start doing this. And all the people said he was washed up. He took a screen yesterday where he didn't pull away from anybody. He picked up like 4 yards. Maybe in the past he gets by somebody, but he's still making incredible catches, still making incredible, and he's locking people down on the offensive line. So maybe it did take a little bit for Gronk to be back, but as of yesterday, it's like, well, add the top 100 tight end of all time to the list of things that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got going for them, alongside having Tom Brady, Ronald Jones, who's the only running back I think to have 3 straight 100-yard rushing games and everything like that, and a defense that is a problem going forward.
Plus, Godwin being back yesterday, you could tell made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that thug, Ndamukong Suh didn't take out Rodgers, because he definitely looked like he wanted to. They were jawing quite a bit.
I am pumped to talk to Tom Brady about what was being said between old him and Sue. I was excited to hear what was being said.
Because I think Sue's one of the only guys who, like, you generally, like, okay, Rodgers cannot stand him. Like, he usually is pretty jovial on the field and, like, laughing with guys. He hates Sue.
It was interesting because there was a lot of chirping of Aaron that was going on. He was walking it off from the Tampa Bay side, and the shot was coming from the Packers sideline, and there was somebody behind him like saying something, and Aaron was just taking off his thing and just jogging off. I'm like, I wonder how happy people were. Like, you don't get a lot of days like this with Aaron Rodgers, okay? Yeah. Let's make sure we take advantage of it. There's not a lot of days where you get to say, oh, you trash, Aaron. Like, there's not a lot of days that you can say that to Aaron Rodgers, and it felt like the Buccaneers were taking advantage of that as much as they possibly could. I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow to hear there's no way he tells us.
No chance.
There's no way. We might play like hot or cold, where I just start saying, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just tell me if I'm getting there.
Blink once.
Did he say you were a bitch? Did he say that? Like, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about private conversations on the field. They were trying, though. Those camera people were zooming in as close as they could on his face. Every thought that he had, they had a full screen of his face making said reaction. There was like an eye roll or something like that, and they were zoomed in right on his face.
Was that the most zoomed in game of all time, though? I think for Brady, like he was at goal line, and they were like literally his both eyeballs took up the whole screen.
At Viva Lazito there, we'll get to his big ass poll here in a second. It wasn't just that game, by the way. Whenever Baker Mayfield jogged on the field for the first series, the camera was like touching him, it felt like. And they have a guy or a girl who's out there who jogs alongside with the camera. That was the closest I think I've ever seen a camera. Like, Baker had to like move them to get to the huddle. Like, excuse me. It feels like the NFL productions, because there isn't as many crowd and things like that.
Because they're closer now.
They're getting a lot better. I feel like they're getting really good shots, almost like movie shots at this point. I'm liking what the NFL is doing, by the way, covering it. But those close-ups, man, they were trying to catch Aaron doing something. They were trying to catch Aaron like, oh, these mother because imagine these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That would be a great gift, by the way. I hope they get it. Can't wait to chat with them about it. At Viva Lazito, what is your poll for the day, please?
The massive poll today is who's the best 5-win quarterback in the NFL?
Oh, isn't that convenient?
Well.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
What do you mean? Mr. Unlimited is at 57%. Shocking. Big Ben, 16.5%. Ryan Tannehill, 12.5%. And Big Poll Foles, 13.9%.
How many wins does Nick Foles
There's
have?
the question.
He has 2.
So this is who's the
As a
best?
starter.
But this poll says who's the best 5-win quarterback in the NFL? Because you did this to remind everybody that the Chicago Bears are 5-1.
Correct.
That is
Well, one player doesn't just win the game. It's a team effort. So.
But he didn't even see the field at all. In those
Yeah, the
It doesn't
question.
matter. It's still a team effort.
You know?
couple
He
games.
didn't practice. He upped the defense. So.
Hey, by the way, as a punter, if I'm on a 5-win team, I'm saying we got 5
Exactly.
wins.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now the other 4
Very me players out of all you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
just the phrasing of the
it's
question.
just-
No, it's fine. You can be
Hey,
me players.
how about the Bears, by the way?
We're 5-1. We're the worst team.
Speaking of, let's put up the sidebar that Zito put together. He was real pumped to do the SpongeBob. Yeah, Bears are the worst 5-1 team.
They
Bear
are,
down. They were. And they are, by the way. But it doesn't matter. If you get a win, who cares? There's this entire rant that Nick Foles went on, by the way, after the game that makes me really question. Because we don't know much about Big Pole Foles, right? Not much. Don't really know much. We know that he almost retired. He went out into the woods, didn't do any drugs at all with his brother-in-law. Came back, decided to play football, goes to back to the Eagles again. Backup quarterback, has that magical run, becomes Super Bowl MVP. The Eagles say, nah, we want Carson Wentz. We don't want you to be here. Kick him out of town. He gets $80 million or whatever from Jacksonville. Gets hurt throwing a touchdown for them. They see Gardner Minshew and they kick him out of town. Get the hell out of here. And now Mitch Trubisky allegedly beats him out for the first game. He becomes a quarterback though for a team that's 5-1. Mitchell Trubisky gets benched while being an undefeated quarterback. And here we are getting a chance to see Nick Foles as like a starter on a good team, which brings a lot of press. And we're getting a chance to hear him talk. This is what he said after the game yesterday. And I'll tell you what, I can't believe Jacksonville said, get the fuck out of here. Because they're not trying to lose. They're trying to win games down there in Jacksonville. I cannot believe that the Philadelphia Eagles were like, yep, get this guy the hell out of our building. Listen to this speech that Nick Foles gives after a big win yesterday for the Chicago Bears.
Now, we're not going to get complacent and say, hey, man, we're 5-1. This is it. No, like we're sitting there in the locker room after the game talking through it. Hey, we got to be better here. This is what we got to do here. Communication here, route running here. Hey, we got to be able to run the ball here. We know that. I know y'all going to ask those questions. We know that.
Yeah, we know.
And that's what's exciting because we don't have to have y'all say, hey, you're doing this. Hey, we know. But we also know that we're going to improve because we believe in one another.
Yeah.
And that's what great teams do. Great teams find a way to win a game. Bad teams win with prettiness.
What?
Great teams win no matter how it takes.
I don't know.
So I'm proud of our guys.
I love that.
I think we're continuing to improve. Are we where we want to be?
there.
No, we're not where we want to be. But I'm excited about our offense. I'm excited about the guys that are there. I like the communication that's happening on the sideline. I love the passion of the players. Most important, they care, and we're bonding. We're getting to know each other. That's football. Like, you don't just go out there and play football. You got to care about the man next to you to make those plays. So I like where we're at. I know we're going to improve. I believe in our staff. I believe in our players.
Any questions? That's a hilarious way to open up a press conference, by the way. I know that's what y'all going to say. I just want to let you know, he did fuck my girl. I did grow up in a trailer park. He really did the B-Rabbit there, Eminem. But it was smart. He lost his flow there in the middle of the promo a little bit where he said bad teams win with prettiness. It was like, well, bad teams are actually the Jets, and they don't win at all. But I understand what you're saying is they're able to win those ugly games, and that's because, if you listen to the way he's talking, they're coming together in that locker room. They're playing for each other, just not alongside each other. That's a big deal because it felt like last year the defense hated the offense because the defense early was just dominant, and Nagy and Mitchell Trubisky, for whatever reason, whoever's fault it was, couldn't do a damn thing. And it felt like the defense just gave up at one point. They're like, all right, no matter what we do, they're going to stink on that side. Now, you got a lot of players saying, Allen Robinson said, like, yeah, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. He's been there. Like, that's our guy, basically. Matt Nagy and he seemed to be on the same page. He didn't have a great start. I mean, granted, in the second half when he came in and lit up the team, it was unbelievable. But his next game did not play good. And there was no waiver from anybody. Like, nope, this is our guy. This is our guy. And after listening to him speak, Hey, not a bad leader, old Nick Foles.
Not at all.
Super Bowl MVP, oh yeah.
You don't hear that out of NFL quarterbacks a lot in the press. Like in that press conference right there. Did you know anything about him as a Bears fan?
Personally, like that fiery side, no. The last press conference, he basically said he loves getting those fights, and I love that about him, and I knew that was going to come.
Warrior.
So you don't know.
That was an awesome. That was when I saw that, I was like, is that what Big Pole Foles?
Mitchell ain't doing it.
There was a couple times on the sideline where he went on the side and just started yelling at linemen, kind of like not really yelling, but like firing him up, and that's what he kind of.
Well, and then if I do recall, there was a couple games ago where he wasn't playing great or whatever, and he was talking to Nagy, and he was like, "Hey, we gotta go."
Against the Bucks.
It feels like Big Pole Foles like wants to be the guy in Chicago. Like, hey, I would like to be the guy here. Which by the way. It sounds like an obvious statement, but I'm talking about for the long haul.
Yeah, the future.
He's like, I want to be the guy here. Like this is going to be a culture that we're going to build. And the question is, if that happens and you guys are successful, which you are, by the way, 5-1 right now.
Thank you very much.
5-1, right? Congrats. No victory stakes because you got Gout.
Yeah, I'm down with the God. I got to eat fish now.
Which Gout, by the way, is
the King's disease.
So that's a royal problem you're having over there.
I am having a royal problem.
Royal Bears.
Are the Bears winning potentially detrimental to Zito's health?
Without question.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these victories.
If I die, I die.
All right, I respect it, but
Which he did
Hell
this
yeah.
weekend.
this means that Nagy's going to be around, by the way, for a long time.
Oh.
Is that the guy you want to be the head coach of Chicago Bears for the long
Yeah,
term?
should we kick Pace out?
Oh,
Pace grab Foles.
maybe Nagy gets a Bill O'Brien-like deal. He's general manager, lead counsel, play caller, and head coach.
Not a bad idea.
Start 0-5 next year.
No. Doesn't work like that.
Oh.
He'll be successful at it. Because Bill Belichick is good at it.
Yes.
So
True.
Bill
So-
O'Brien's good. Nagy will be good.
Yeah, same thing, basically. Patricia,
All right, let's get some phone calls on the other side. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6 here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 82. We'll take some phone calls on the other side, overreact to some more stuff, and I think we have some breaking news.
what? What?
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe on the other side of the break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, October 19th, 2020.
I like Pittsburgh a lot. I think Pittsburgh's healthier. I think Cleveland's beat up. I think it's hard to run the ball on Pittsburgh. I think it'll be a scoring game. I think you can move the ball on the Browns secondary. I think Big Ben played well last week. I like Pittsburgh. I'll lay the 3.5.
I'm taking the Steelers minus 3.5. The Brownies just aren't good in Pittsburgh. 18-39-1 against the spread their last 58 games as a dog. 7-23-2 against the spread versus a team with a winning record. 1-7 against the spread their last 8 road games. And 0-4 against the spread their last 4 versus the AFC North. And the Pittsburgh Steelers in October, their last 78 games. 51-25-2 against the spread.
Quite a sample size there, my friend.
Hammer.
A sample size.
I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers as well.
Probably.
Okay. So not always good that we're always on the same thing, but also could be very good that we're all on the
Could be.
same thing. I mean,
It's worked before.
By the way, initial belief too, not just like you guys had talked me into being on the team. So initial belief, leader in clubhouse is on board. Mr. Aaron Rodgers. How was the bye week? You weren't allowed to leave. You weren't allowed to do anything. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I had the COVID test every morning, just like all of our guys. And
Make sure you vote. Listen, if you don't vote, not having Aaron Rodgers Tuesday ever again. Okay? Make sure you vote.
first Tuesday in November, right? So we're just gonna skip this show.
No. Did you watch anything like maybe Ted Lasso during the bye week to help that entire thing out?
I didn't watch Ted Lasso.
Jesus.
Come on. Unbelievable. Don't vote, Aaron. Hey, don't vote.
You know, in a tent in nature, just camping on my own property.
You camped out on your own property during the bye week?
Yeah, I'm kidding about that.
Oh, my.
Did you really wear number 40 at West Virginia?
Yeah, it was my GPA and my favorite drink.
So you are wearing shorts.
Yeah, come on, bro.
No?
Pat doesn't believe me that they don't give Toradol shots there.
They don't. Yeah, they don't give Toradol shots. But Age would drink this green legume drink that I'm sure it was legal, but it made his body just, I mean, he had the worst gas you could
How do you maintain that high level for so long? Is it like super competitive? Like you have to be an ultra competitive human being to be a quarterback?
Well, I think it starts to being hyper competitive. You know, I think that's a trait with all the long time great players is you just have I love to compete. I think the most important thing is you have to be self-motivated. And again, that may seem like a standard statement, but it's not. I mean, not every player is self-motivated.
Hey, how's Jordan Love doing? We don't hear much about him.
This is a good time for him to learn, to see what it looks like, to see what the week's preparation look like, and just kind of soak it all up.
And does that change where you throw the ball to people if they're more of a body catcher or hands catcher or anything like that?
Anybody that gets the ball with their hands, it just changes the whole catch rate. It changes the whole confidence you have in throwing them. But anybody that naturally catches the ball with their hands probably gets a few more looks. I would say this, there's places that I would like to go in the future. And one of them is Egypt.
Ooh. When were the pyramids and the Sphinx, when were they constructed? Also, like, what kind of technology did they use?
It was aliens. Say it.
Yeah, it was definitely aliens.
Bingo. Yeah, there it is, by the way.
The Pat McAfee Show.
Jeez, that's a quick one.
Yeah.
I did not expect that to be that quick.
Good.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Life is all about being hydrated. Mm-hmm. What's the best type of water to drink?
Ice cold water.
Freezing.
What is the coldest water on the planet?
Liquid death.
Liquid death water. It's water that comes in a can. It's a very tough sell to people that maybe think water should not be in a can, but it's not until you taste this liquid death water that you realize that's the coldest water to ever fucking exist. If you grew up back in the day, you might have drank out of hoses a little bit. And when you would drink out of hoses, it was not only the coldest water, but also the most delicious water. This kind of has that nostalgic feel, but it also has the feel of the coldest water to ever touch your lips. The can. The aluminum can does something absolutely special to the water inside of it. It not only is the water coming from the Alps.
Yeah.
Ty just chugged it.
It is ice cold.
He's got a brain freeze.
Wow.
Not only is the water delicious, but it's also the coldest. If you find liquid death, which you can in a 7-Eleven, go ahead and do so. It'll change your life entirely. The name might scare you, but the water will invigorate you. This first hour is brought to you by Liquid Death. Boom, boom. What a hilarious thing. All right, enough. Dumbest show of all time.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. It's real, though. Everything I just said is real, though. Yeah. It is ice cold.
Chest hurts.
Brain freeze.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ernest in Maryland, just because I've never talked to an Ernest before. What's going on, bub?
The Mac attack is on today, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I want to start a petition. I want Zimmer out of Minnesota like the day before yesterday. I'm sick of watching him throw away every game, man. I can't even watch football this year. I'm still on the proverbial couch. Bring the Anderson, bring the Bear, get some ibuprofen, bring an ice pack, bring something, bring a good-looking woman. I probably won't rise on that one either. That's how bad I feel.
You can do it.
Ernest. I don't mind Ernest.
That's pretty good.
I'm not 100% sure what the last part was all about, but I like Ernest's energy, and that is something watching. Now, the Vikings minus 4.5 was something I said, hey, go ahead and hammer that against that Falcons team. Because just a week before I said that, I made a rule that when a team fires a coach, there's going to be an inspiration amongst the locker room. It's like whenever anybody who's in charge gets fired, there's always this feel that you have to impress them potentially to maybe get a little bit of a promotion somewhere. It happens in every business. It happens on football teams. But I thought that Falcons team was dead. I thought Matt Ryan was potentially done for. I thought that the Atlanta Falcons were going to have to pay Matt Ryan $100 million to ruin their franchise going forward. What I completely didn't get right was, Was Dan Quinn telling them not to give the ball to Julio Jones?
Feels like it.
Was Dan Quinn telling the defense not to intercept the rock? Because I think they had, 3 interceptions in the first half against Kirk Cousins. Julio Jones might have got targeted on 97% of the plays. And by the way, it worked whenever they gave him the rock. Was Dan Quinn the problem in Atlanta? Or was that team just waiting to kind of find a groove and find, because they look like a completely different squad yesterday against the Minnesota Vikings. That Falcons team was a team that I thought was potentially competing for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. Yesterday, they put a dominant performance over that Vikings team, and I was completely wrong. That Vikings team looked bad. They looked very, very
terrible.
bad. 1 week after looking good, by the way. So is it Zimmer's fault that they lack consistency? Is it the fact that he's dating an IG model that is maybe making it a problematic situation? Ernest seems to think yes, but this season for the Vikings is going nothing like what last year went like, whenever they actually got a playoff win with the same exact team, it feels like.
Yeah, but how are they not calling for Kirk Cousins?
There it is.
I mean, the guy threw 3 picks in the first half, and the offense doesn't have Dalvin Cook, fine, but you can't turn the ball over like Jimmy Winston and expect to win games.
It was bad,
terrible.
It was Dan Quinn telling him don't give the ball to Julio. Is that why Julio took all the pictures of the Atlanta Falcons off his Instagram a couple years ago because he didn't like Dan Quinn? Is that what the problem was, or how did that whole thing change overnight? That we have this guy that we can just give the ball. Every play, we can give him the ball.
Wait, what number is he?
And 11, I think.
On our team?
Yeah, on the Falcons. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
What's he playing?
And by the way, Matt Ryan was slinging it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Will he be able to do that for the rest of the season? Nobody knows. Was I completely wrong about Matt Ryan? Maybe. Maybe they were just uninspired with old Dan Quinn in there.
The fascinating part is the Minnesota Vikings. They could have let Kirk Cousins play out this year and see how he did, and not give him a 2-year extension this offseason and pay him $30 million a year for the next.
Well, he won a playoff game.
Yeah,
nobody could have expected what's going on right now. And Justin Jefferson's a stud.
Oh yeah, very much so.
He is very, very good. It makes no sense why they stink so bad. It makes no sense at all.
I guess if you want Zimmer out, I would think it's because he's a defensive guy, and the defense has proved so far this year that they absolutely stink. They have a lot of young guys in the secondary, but their defense is very bad.
I'm intrigued to see the story here about Dan Quinn, because it feels like that team was uninspired when he was playing, and then yesterday they throttled them.
Yeah.
They beat the dog shit out of the Minnesota Vikings yesterday.
If we would have known how much the players just maybe didn't respect Dan Quinn, we would never have bet it.
We cannot say that.
Well, I didn't want to say hate, because hate.
Let's go to Trent in Japan. Trent.
What?
Oh, nice.
Ohio.
All right, how y'all doing, boys? Just like the liquid death, I must say you look ice cold with that chain today.
Oh, thank you. It is my lady got me a Cuban link strictly because of the infatuation I had with Zito's. I would have preferred this maybe to be a little bit longer, but I will live with it. It feels very good. It's very fake.
Good,
I mean, so people think it's real. Yeah.
That's real?
No, not
fantastic.
real.
Come on.
Thank you, Trent. What part of Japan are you in?
I'm up in the northern part.
Oh,
I'm just here on a little vacation.
Oh, Mr. Roberto.
But my big question is has Mike Vrabel dethroned Belichick as the most intelligent, greatest coach in the NFL with his playmaking and just time management?
Yeah, that's a great question, Trent. And I understand what you're talking about with the too many men that he sent a guy on the field to stop the clock with 3:05. And I think that really could work out both ways depending on if they win or not. I like the fact, though, that he's being, creative with his moves. It was punt team last year where he ran the clock off against Belichick, and Belichick just had to sit there and eat it because he's done it in the past. And this year was the too many men. He's sending 46 on the field on purpose, so they have to stop the clock with 3:05 left when he figured they would score already. But if that ends up biting him in the ass, everybody will call him an idiot. But I like Mike Vrabel a lot as a human. What I don't like is the fact that you lied to us. You did not go on vacation to Japan. Yeah. There's no way that happened.
I'm here on business, but
now it's business. Sure.
No, it's business, Trent. I don't like that we just get lied to immediately upon the conversation. What are you in the military, or are you actually doing business over there?
Yeah, just a little business.
What kind of business are you in?
Oh, so this must be like stock. This is like you gotta be. Are you in Tokyo?
Batman.
Yeah, sorta.
Yeah, so he's in the stock exchange. Yeah, because they're a day ahead, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, so they are a day ahead. So
yes, 1 a.m. out here.
Oh, what should we invest
ask him who won the games tonight?
That's good.
All right, Trent. Thanks for the call. He lied to us immediately.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on.
So whenever we went on our USO tour over there, we ran into one of the guys we went with. His uncle works over there in the finance world or whatever, and we met with him and talked to him. And I was on some sake and feeling pretty good at that point. You know what I mean? So I started talking to the guy, and it's like, since they're a day ahead, their stock opens obviously a day ahead. Yeah. His job is literally to send trends back to the people in New York or something like that.
So they can predict the trends here
Yeah,
based on Japan?
Yeah, like they do that with fashion, you know. Like fashion is allegedly starts all over there, and then we catch up like a year later. I guess in the stock market, they can catch trends of like, 24 hours in advance or 16 hours in advance and then send it back home.
Does their numbers affect our Dow Jones?
I don't think it, maybe. Actually, I would assume that it does.
Probably.
Because I would assume that that guy's uncle isn't the only person that's over there doing that.
Probably not.
We should send Mitt over there and have him watch the trends.
No, we should not send Mitt.
Watch the Dow Jones.
What was that?
You should have him watch the Dow Jones.
Or the other one is?
Up Jones.
All right, let's go to Dave. Let's go to Dave in Chicago. What's going on, Dave? Jeez.
Hey, what's going on, Ben? The boys, how's your Monday going?
Not too bad. Just trying to get a good read on the Dow Jones and the Up Jones. What do you want to talk about, brother? Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, we got Big Dick Nick fucking taking the Bears to the winning record for the NFC North. How do you feel about him going forward? And are they going to make it to the playoffs?
I like him, Dave. I like him a lot. And I like him a lot more after that speech he gave in the press conference. Now, they are winning very ugly, but that defense seems to be playing very well. And it's a shame because Chuck Pagano probably gets another head coaching gig immediately after this season. So if you guys don't go on the run this year, will the defense still be as damn dominant as they are this year? Next year, probably, because they have all the players. And Khalil Mack. It is alleged, I guess the commentator said that Khalil Mack has felt disrespected because he's not in the conversation of like Defensive Player of the Year or anything like that anymore. The commentator said that.
Big shoulder, or big chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, big old chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Dow Jones size. Dow Jones size chip. I like that team a lot, though.
Do you think?
I do. I don't know, man. You're going to have to score. Like, you're going to have to score. And I understand Khalil Mack will be able to stop people. But in the playoffs, I think there's going to be more scoring than there's ever been in football before. Like, I honestly, because in the playoffs, normally things slow down. Normally, I just think this year, it feels like this is a much more offensive sided year. I think the over is hit. It feels like in every game almost.
Didn't we kind of see that with the Packers, though, with Aaron? Like, once you start hitting him, he's going to start going down a little bit. You know, like, obviously I'm not saying like.
He also missed a tight end one time. I think it was just potentially one of those days.
Right.
I don't know if you're going to get.
But also for the Bears, like at this point in the season, they would have to totally collapse not to make the playoffs, really. I mean, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, they're 5-1, you know. It's
And are the Vikings going to quit or keep playing?
should. Right.
And the Lions got to feel juiced after that. Jaguars, they're what, 1 or 2 games out of the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Now we play this next 7 games. We can win every single game.
Go on.
We play the Falcons. We play the Colts. We play the Washington football team. We play the Panthers. We play the Bears. There's a lot of games we can win right now.
That's a lot of games you can lose.
There's a couple teams.
There's a lot of games we can win right there.
We play the Chiefs. We play the Raiders. We play the Steelers.
We would lose to those teams. These teams we can beat.
I don't know if you can beat the Pittsburgh or the Indianapolis Colts right now.
Hey, I'll tell you what. The Jaguars are a bad football team, and I didn't watch that Colts Jaguars game week 1. I have no clue how they lost.
Matthew Stafford has one of the dopest touchdown passes I've seen in a long time, where he took that son bitch sideways, almost like a submarine pitcher. It looked like a submarine pitcher in baseball goes side door, and that thing was on a rope, by the way. So Matthew Stafford's talent is at an all-time high.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford's stock probably is worth more than it's ever been worth at this point, because he's on a franchise that has potentially just wasted his entire career, decade-long career plus at this point. But the Detroit Lions, if they can figure it out in that NFC North, maybe they can make a play.
You never know. And you know what I'm worried about now, too? Kenny Galladay, incredible receiver. I don't know if they're going to extend him either. So it's just the same old Lions.
But the thing about the Lions is just 1 week ago, there were certain people on air calling for maybe the Lions to sell the team out of Detroit.
Yeah, interesting.
That team is now 2 and 3, the Lions. And the team that the person cheers for that told Detroit to sell the team, they are also 2 and 3 at this point.
It's very interesting.
So, do you have anything to say about that at Boston Connor?
Yeah, well, you know, when you're barking, the NFL gods will hear you, and when they hear you, they will punish you. And so here we are.
Let's go to Corbin and Columbus. What's going on, Corbin?
Hey, what's up, Pat? How are you?
Not too shabby, bub. What do you want to talk about?
First, I would love to tell Tony to back up off the Browns.
Back it up.
Historically bad. We have been a historically bad franchise, and for him to be so happy after beating us last week, back up, bud.
Kind of rude.
Kind
of rude.
I mean, they were very chirpy all week long, and I think Twitter was down in Cleveland yesterday, so they should probably get that worked out.
Anyways, Corbin, you're a big Cleveland fan. You guys have a team now 4-2 in that AFC North. Could be problematic for the next 5-10 years at this point.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, Pat. You know, we still have a bunch of stuff to figure out. You know,
like the quarterback.
Who knows what the hell's going on with Baker Mayfield? He may not even be the quarterback in 2 seasons.
Or one season.
Yeah, or one season. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, Corbin.
But you know, Steelers are going to lose Big Ben in a couple seasons too. So you guys are going to be at the starting point just like we are.
Hey, good call there, actually, Corbin. I like that. This morning, a lot of talking heads saying Baker Mayfield is who we thought he was, by the way. But I think the Steelers' defense is going to make a lot of people look average. That is kind of what they have done, and I think they will continue to do. And Ryan Clark said this morning on Get Up, he said, anytime you talk about the dominant Steelers, their defense has been dominant. So if you think back to any of the glorious days of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would assume one of the immediate thoughts afterwards is that the defensive side of the ball was just absolutely raising hell. This defense does that. This defense is unbelievable. And if Ben Roethlisberger, Chase Claypool, 2 more tuds, by the way, he is going to be unbelievable for the next couple years here, at least the next 7 to 10 years. He's going to be unbelievable. Juju Smith-Schuster, I mean, he's celebrating, bringing the morale up in that entire.
So good locker room guy.
James Conner, dominant in the backfield. He's playing very. Old Snell-Later's playing well. Offensive line. I mean, this Steelers team could make a run. This Steelers team could go on a real run. And it's not just because Ben Roethlisberger has refocused and realigned his energies on things that make him a better football player as opposed to anything that could have been distracting him a little bit. But it's because the defense is so fucking good. That defense, whenever you watch it, Diggs, you have to be just so pumped about it. The D-line, I don't know how they're going to be able to keep them together. They won't be able to. Somebody's going to pay each and every one of them, I'd assume, a lot of money. But that defensive line is stupid.
They're all already locked up except for Bud Dupree. He's going to leave, and he's going to get a lot of money somewhere.
He's, 275 or something like that? He's a massive dude who runs fast, and he's very good at football. But that D-line is the reason why the Steelers are potentially a problem for everybody.
No, it's absolutely incredible. And I've watched every snap of that team this year, and no quarterback. They have made quarterbacks look bad, but no quarterback has looked worse than Baker Mayfield.
Diggs can't help.
That's the truth.
Diggs can't help.
If we're just facts.
All right, so another D-line that normally poses quite a problem for teams, Los Angeles Rams last night against San Francisco 49ers. Very interesting Sunday Night Football game, watching it. We're back in San Francisco, by the way, because obviously the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl, so they're going to get a lot of primetime games. But for the past couple of weeks, they have not looked like a team that should be on primetime football. And then last night, we're back, baby. Jimmy G threw for how many? 300 yards? Hold on. Jimmy G, 268 yards. 23 of 33, 268. Kittle had 109 yards and a tud. And it seemed like they were drawing plays. They had a lot of end arounds happening with Deebo Samuel. There was another guy that was flying around for them a lot. The 49ers look damn good. But if you're Jimmy G, who's coming off an ankle injury, and you're Raheem Mostert, who had a hell of a night again, who he seems like he is just doing that on a regular basis at this point, you got to be pumped about that offensive line, who held Aaron Donald, who, I don't know if Sunday Night Football had this idea where they were just going to do an entire drive on Aaron Donald and talk about how good he was, which, by the way, we appreciate because he's from a town like 10 minutes away from us, and he's an absolute monster and everything like that. But the drive that they were spotlighting Aaron Donald on, he did nothing, and the 49ers just scored right down the field. And then they came back to him again. And it was almost like a detriment to Aaron Donald because they were showing him get double teamed, which, by the way, he takes on a double every single play. And that 49ers offensive line was just stunned. No problem at all on Aaron Donald. If you're Jimmy G or Raheem or anybody for the Niners, you got to be pumped that your offensive line was able to do that because that is what's going to win you games, especially in that Kyle Shanahan offense where it's a lot of running. We are not that far removed from that team having 186 yards rushing before contact in the NFC Championship game. Right. George Kittle seems all the way back. The Niners feel all the way back. But are the Rams dead? That is the question you have to ask. Are the Rams completely fucking dead at this point?
It's hard to tell because every single one of their wins, I believe, is against the NFC East. Bingo. And then they had the game against the Bills where they were down by, 20 or whatever. and then last night. So, like, you have no idea who the Rams are, and I think at this point, kind of honestly, have no idea who the 49ers are either.
Did you guys know Sean McVay's grandpa was in football? I did not know that.
Not until last night.
I did not know that Sean
Was he head coach?
Nah, he was a president or something.
He's in the Ring of Honor for the Niners.
I did not know that McVay was in a football family. It makes sense that he got a head coaching gig at 32, by the way. You would have to be connected somewhere. But I did not know that until last night. I feel like Sean McVay is a guy who's been covered rather in-depthly, and I didn't know that until last night. I was like, oh, of course he got a head coaching job at 32. Of course he has
bloodline,
generational context or whatever. You know what I mean? So he's very good. But that offense last night, the Niners look good, man. They look like they did last year all of a sudden. And Coach Salah, the defensive coordinator who was up for a lot of gigs, last night it felt like he was back bouncing around on the sideline. They're kind of getting energy, and I think they get Richard Sherman back here in the next week or two or something.
Oh, nice. And they play the Patriots next week, so that's looking great for everybody, really. That's awesome. I'm pumped.
That's tough.
Jimmy G's coming home, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, but Lawrence Guy is going to be a problem.
Hell yeah, he is. All-decade team for the New England Patriots.
We love Lawrence Guy around here.
Oh, yeah. Big fan of Larry.
Let's go to Josh in Tampa. What's going on, Josh?
Hey, the boys. Mad Dog Monday.
Yeah, what's going on, man? What's going on?
I want to talk about two things. Shout out Ty. Go Rays, go Bucks on that one.
Sweet.
Attaboy, Ty.
Shout out.
Congrats.
Number two, your Tuesday regular. He came to play on Sunday.
This guy taking shots.
Great call,
Oh,
dude.
so this guy's a prick. That guy's a prick. Is that that's what his thing was?
No, he's Joshua down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, fair enough. Tom's got those fans bumping down there.
I mean, that was a bad call.
Yeah, what an asshole.
I wish he would have buried Ty a little bit more. You know, if you're gonna take a shot, like let's go for it.
Exactly. You don't
Mad Dog Monday, which by the way I respect because we're on Mad Dog Radio, but this is Overreaction Monday. Okay,
come on.
Overreaction.
Like we always pay tribute to Mad Dog, but we love Mad Dog
And the Brick.
We do.
Yeah.
JT the Brick, fucking legend here on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Yeah.
But this is Overreaction Monday. We do Mad Dog Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
We do Mad Dog
Wednesday. Mad Dog Wednesday through Friday.
Feel good Friday.
Every day's Mad Dog Day.
By the way, we're lucky to be on Mad Dog Sports Radio. We are big Mad Dog fans. I would like everybody to know that.
Huge. We bark for him.
But which, by the way, I found out, I think a lot of his fans hate that you guys do that.
Probably because they didn't think of it first.
Sorry, guys.
Let's go to Danny in Colorado Springs. What's going on, Danny?
Yo, Patty Light and the boys. What's up?
What's going on, man? What's going on,
I
dude?
just want to say, Connor, your Shades game might be the steeziest thing I've seen on the internet.
Oh, Steezy.
Is that good?
Steezy.
Oh, steezy. Yeah, you say that like when you're shredding gnar and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
When you're ripping barrels, dude.
Fresh pal.
Get it? Get Steez for
Steez,
1 minute,
dog.
Tony. Steez it up, dude.
Bro, you know what? Your hat, Steez, dog.
Yeah.
Steezy
Sweet,
hat.
thanks,
bro.
man.
Fuck, Drew.
I'm old.
All right, so I have a future conspiracy question.
Okay.
So my roommate kicked footballs in college at a small school. He said some of these guys would, like sand like the corner of their cleat off, or like wear like a football cleat on one foot and a soccer cleat on the other. What you got on that?
That second one.
Great question, Danny. That was a Steezy question. Now
That was full of Steez.
Extra Steez.
I can smell the Steez from here.
I think the folks that would wear, and I did at one point for a little bit, because there's always this, well, in my eyes, it was a myth, but some kickers believe in it. You should wear like the tightest shoe possible on your kicking foot so that there isn't any room between your foot and the ball. Ooh. So it's almost like Vinatieri wears shoes that are like a size or two too small for his foot, right? And it's worked for him, obviously. And I did it early because I saw him doing it. I was like, this probably helps me out. So you don't want both of your feet to be incredibly uncomfortable. So you normally would wear football cleat and then the incredibly small cleat or whatever, you know? And Vinny might have been a half a size or a size. I don't remember the exact, but he definitely wore a smaller one, but he wore them on both feet. So I would try to go, I want like a size smaller on my kicking foot, and I used a football cleat on the other side just because I wanted to be able to walk without, you know, but that ended quickly. I was like, well, I'm going to go for comfort here, and I would just start wearing the same shoe. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. Some guys are a little bit superstitious. They think the football cleat gives you more traction because it has the cleat up in the front. That is the difference between a football cleat and the soccer cleat, obviously. So guys do it for different reasons. I don't know about shaving the end. I'm not 100% sure what that was. I don't know what that means, but anything to make kick the ball better, I think guys will do it.
Was there any difference when you switched from the smaller one to the regular size?
No. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool little thing. I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
So it was just uncomfortable the whole time?
The whole time it was very uncomfortable.
Did you tell Vinny, like, hey, you don't have to be that uncomfortable, man?
I don't know if Vinny's uncomfortable, by the way. I think he was, like, that was just kind of his thing. I think it was a half a size shorter, or maybe a size. I forget what it was. But you will always see him in flip-flops, by the way. You will always see him.
On the sideline?
No, just in life. He's in flip. Probably just trying to let those things breathe because his feet were just.
But they're also gold, so.
That happened with Odell yesterday, actually.
Yeah. Took his shoes off on the sideline there.
Oh.
And people are like, oh, he's talking shit and taking his shoes off. It's like, well, if you can hear somebody, because there's not a lot of humans, 7,500 people, and you can hear somebody saying something about you, like if you don't answer, what does that say about you?
Are you a bitch then?
Yeah, that's what happens. So then there's like, well, he's not supposed to answer, be a professional. Why does he have his shoes up? Well, maybe his feet are fucking uncomfortable. I mean, there's a lot of questions there. OBJ does not get the benefit of the doubt ever. Hour 1 wrapping up here on this Overreaction Monday. We're back in the second hour with Darius Butler.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6, on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like a, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We don't have it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field. And Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. And good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's...
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking... That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but...
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No. Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit. Hey, Steven, fuck you. And it is off the wall. Don't cut. This is a good at bat. Hey, nice pitch. I think I just pulled a hammy. Hey. Back. Hey, fuck you, Steven. What inning?
Top of the second.
Jesus.
Here comes McAfee.
I saw that thing jumping out of the glove. Hey. What was that? Would have been nice to take a nap earlier.
Another throw first. He's going back on it now, coming over the center fielder. Harris makes the catch.
Cousin.
James.
What was that? And the catcher goes, I had to give you one.
1-1 pitch.
Let's go.
Line drive right
son of a
at the
bitch. This is a good at bat. Oh, in my head, it was like, oh, yeah, you're going to drop this for sure. What the fuck are you even doing here? Why did we sign up for this? What's going on? It all comes down to this. My last at bat. Hey, I'm going to get on. You bring me home.
This is your life on the line, fucker.
Let me tell you something. If you're going to take an L, okay, you're going to take one. So I think that the close your eyes and swing method is perfect for you.
Oh, this is hardball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. You have no prayer.
Oh, boy.
McAfee at the plate.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 19th, here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82. Hour 2 begins right now after an incredible beat drop from our guy Twine. There are things to talk about. We've already talked about the Bucs and the Packers 38-10. Aaron Rodgers looked not as godlike as he had looked in the first couple games. Is it the Todd Bowles defense? Was it something on his side? Is it the fact that the last 3 games coming out of bye weeks, they have gone 0-3? In last year, after a bye week, lost 28-7 or something like that, they rattled off 6 wins in a row right after that. So will we expect the same thing for the Packers? We shall ask Aaron tomorrow on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. But if you're a Buccaneers fan, you should be pretty pumped up. In 1 hour, we have Alan Quay Shipley, AQ Shipley, Tampa Bay Buccaneers center, who was, the final piece to the Buccaneers dub last night against the Green Bay Packers. He'll be joining us here. It feels like that team has it figured out. And by figuring it out, I mean their defense is unbelievable. Tom Brady isn't throwing it 55, 60 times a game. They're handing it off a lot. Ronald Jones, the running back, is the only running back with 3 straight 100-yard games. That Gronkowski connection with Tom Brady seems to be back. If you're a Buccaneers fan, and if you're potentially a guy who hosts a radio show on Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, you should be pretty excited about your prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, because that team now, after week 6 here, seems to be gelling, seems to be figuring it out, and we knew it could take some time because it's Tom Brady in a new place. No offseason, no preseason, no OTAs. They're figuring it out. Will they be able to continue it? We shall see. Joining us now is a man who was drafted by the New England Patriots, played a long time for the Indianapolis Colts. He played corner, he played safety. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the Man to Man podcast, which I would recommend checking out. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. Terrible connection. We got to call you back. Terrible. Yeah, you look terrible. I mean, it's just terrible because it just looks terrible.
Yeah, I got it.
It's not your fault.
Hit me back.
Yeah, we will. We'll call you back. Darius will break down tonight's games. There's 2 Monday Night Football games. We got Chiefs and Bills and Cardinals, Cowboys. There's over-unders, obviously, for the quarterbacks, and Darius will tell us who he likes, who he hates in that particular, little prop bet that has made us a lot of money this season thus far, taking advantage of FanDuel Sportsbook and the incredible opportunity to win there. The thought about tonight's games is interesting because it's like Bills-Chiefs. Are the Bills who we thought they were, or were they who they were against the Tennessee Titans? And the Buffalo Bills had to play on a Tuesday night on the road. They weren't given an update on a lot of things. Their game was moved around. I could assume that they potentially feel very okay with what happened against the Titans and know that they can move on. And that situation will hopefully not happen ever again. Then the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like, well, are you the team that you are on paper? Or are you the team that has shown up in a couple games now? And it's early in the season, and the Super Bowl hangover could be something. What they did against the Baltimore Ravens was unbelievable. That was the last time they were on Monday Night Football. So maybe tonight the Chiefs' Showtime primetime show will be back. I like the Chiefs in this particular game. But the Buffalo Bills, that team, I don't think that anybody is talking about them the right way because of the loss to the Titans. But I think the Titans are just a very good football team. And I think the Bills are as well. This is going to be a primetime matchup that I'm looking forward to, and I think ultimately Mahomes gets the win, but this could very easily go to the Bills Mafia tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with, being a home dog, 5.5. I don't know. That's tough to go against.
Yeah, I think it is. And Diggs, when you're hammering this bet, what are the percentages of money on who thinks what? Because in my eyes, the home dog, getting 5.5 points, and that's at -110, so it's probably going to stay there for the rest of the day if I had to guess. That is a lot of points to be giving a home team that is had one bad game against the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. Before that, they were playing lights out football.
Yeah, 72% of the money is on the Chiefs, while 63% of the tickets are on the Chiefs. So it seems like more of the higher price bettors are going with the Chiefs. Only 28% of the money is on the Bills.
I'm intrigued by it. I don't know who we're going to pick. Maybe by the end of the day we'll have it. And I can't wait to hear what Darius has to say. I think he's picking the Cardinals-Cowboys game, by the way. I think he is getting involved in that particular world because he thinks that the Cowboys defense is he's been calling it into question a lot here early. Everybody's talking about how the Dallas Cowboys can't do blah, 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 blah. He's been questioning the Cowboys defense, and then he's intrigued, I think, by Kyler Murray potentially becoming the Kyler Murray the first 2 weeks and then maybe last week against the Jets. What's up?
That one, number-wise, is a little more interesting because 56% of the money's on the Cowboys, so more of the money's on the Cowboys. But the line went from -3 to the -1, so it's getting easier for the Cowboys to cover. So that's
so what does that mean?
To take most likely you would take the Cowboys there in that situation.
Okay, let's go to Lauren in Iowa. What's going on, Lauren?
Hey, Pat and the boys, what's up?
What's going on, Lauren? What part of Iowa are you in?
I'm in Cedar Falls.
Oh, nice. I don't know what that means.
Right next to where I'm from.
Go Cats.
Hey, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats, okay.
You and I.
Oh, University of Northern Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah, go Cats.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Lauren, go Cats.
Go Cats, baby.
Yeah, I love the show. Me and my fiance, we watch it every day. But I just wanted to say, happy Overreaction Mondays. Fuck you, Connor. I hope you never talk shit about the Broncos again.
I didn't hear the rest of you said after "fuck you, Connor" because I was so excited there.
That was good.
But shout out to Brandon McManus going 6 for 6 yesterday. I would assume he would be the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. I don't know who else could do that. He single-handedly beat the New England Patriots all by himself.
Yeah, it was very fun to watch. Sometimes you just got to accept that the brand is going to get you.
I thought for a chance there that the Broncos and Patriots were trying to ruin football by having the most boring game of all time. But then there at the end, had a couple of double passes. We had a whole thing and then incompletion. It was a wild night there. A wild, wild game in Foxborough yesterday.
Yeah, we made it a little fun. As much as we can at the end when we play like dog shit, it is what it is.
You guys would be so incredibly thrilled to be winning games the way the Bears are winning games.
Yes.
And it feels like your team is set up that way to potentially win games like that. And I would never, ever, even last year when it was obvious that the Patriots didn't have enough firepower to make a run, I wouldn't say it because I've been embarrassed, or I've been on teams and I have been. Yeah, I've been embarrassed by the New England Patriots before. So it's just like, I don't want to go in the open and say, this team's dead, especially even now at 2-3 and they have no idea and all that stuff. I I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out. I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out. Maybe Cam Newton, though, coming off a week off after COVID, maybe his lungs were tired, maybe the whole thing was happening, maybe he does get back into it. I just have too much faith in Bill Belichick, I think. And I think you should, if you're a Patriot fan, be like, yeah, Bill will be able to figure this out. I still think they'll be able to, but I don't know if they are even a problem in the AFC at this point. I'm not 100% sure.
There's so many good teams in the AFC, but I mean, and Cam said it, I don't point fingers, I point thumbs. So he knows that it's on him. He knows that he's got to play better. And if you watch the game yesterday, he was probably our worst player on the field.
He said that? I don't point fingers, I point thumbs?
Yeah, he said it this morning, yeah.
I like that.
That's a good line.
Because he did say hindsight's 50-50 at one point.
Yeah.
And
Also.
that is 100% accurate.
Think about it.
Joining us now, he was supposed to join us earlier. The connection was too terrible. Talk about tonight's games and what he likes and how we can make money off of FanDuel for a quarterback's passing yards being over/under. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. Oh, yeah.
Better?
Yeah, you look good right there. You look really good.
All right, appreciate that.
Tonight, we got a couple big... what was your thoughts on the weekend, by the way? You watched the Colts game, as did I. Joe Burrow looked like maybe the best football player of all time. Then all of a sudden, they kind of turned that thing around. What are your thoughts on the Colts and the Bengals? I think Joey Burrow is going to be a guy going forward, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud. They just got to protect him, get some weapons around him. But he's going to be a real good one. The Colts, they came out looking terrible on offense. Everybody was on Phillip Rivers' case last week. He came out, had a great game. The defense, they made second half adjustments, played great in the second half, just like they did in the Cleveland game. They made plays, man. I'm excited about that rookie too, Blackman. He's been playing lights out all year. Another pick to seal the game. So I know they're happy going 4-2 into the bye week. So I'm happy for them, man.
Yeah, good for the Colts, by the way. And Phillip Rivers, it was obvious that he and Frank had an idea that he was going to open it up a little bit more. It was almost like what happened when everybody was questioning Drew Brees' arm. That next week, he and Sean Payton had like 40 pass attempts longer than 15 yards. It felt like that with Phillip Rivers this week. He was dropping some in a bucket, though. He was throwing to spots. Phillip Rivers looked very good 1 week after looking very, very bad. Threw a pick, didn't jog back on the field and throw another one, thank God. That has been a trait of his here since he joined the Indianapolis Colts. So maybe the Colts will be able to get this thing moving going forward. And Joe Burrow just has to survive. You're 100% right. Looking forward to tonight's game, D-Butt. Got a couple intriguing matchups here. What do you like? What do you hate? And what do you think is going to happen?
Well, as far as the hammers and all that stuff, I'm going to stay away from the Kansas City-Buffalo game. Buffalo, both of them coming off humbling losses. The DBs for the Chiefs got kind of tore up by Carr last week, lost that game. Buffalo's been banged up at the corner position, lost that game. But I think the Chiefs going to bounce back. Mahomes going to have a signature game tonight. I'm going to stay away from that one. But for that other one, that Cowboys-Cardinals, Cowboys struggled last week again on defense, giving up a bunch of points to the Giants of all teams. And now we got Kyler Murray. He likes to come in there and sling that thing around, pause. So I'm going to say Kyler Murray going to hit that over, 26.5. I'm going to say hammer that over on Kyler Murray.
Okay, so Kyler Murray over 286.5, just strictly because of what you saw the Giants do to the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Well, not just the Giants. I mean, everybody against the Cowboys. Everybody running the train on that defense. They can't stop a nosebleed right now. And, Kyler, Hopkins, those boys, they like to toss the ball around. And on the other side, I think Andy Dalton, his number is pretty high. They got a 26.5 as well. And I'm going to say under. I think if I'm the game plan, if I'm in that offense, the game plan coming into this thing is feed Zeke. You got to feed him, get him more involved, and let Dalton just, manage the game and win it if you have the chance. But so I'm going to go under on Dalton and over on Kyler.
Okay, and those make a lot of sense, by the way, both of them. And I'm thankful that you give us these locks every week. It feels like we're just stealing money from FanDuel at this point with these particular bets. It is interesting, though, that Dalton and Kyler have the same exact over-under on pass yards. And I would assume that they're thinking that for Andy Dalton strictly because Mike McCarthy is a guy that just likes to chuck the rock. Like, he just likes to throw it no matter who's in there. In your eyes, you don't think that's going to happen. You think they will learn and they will adjust and say, hey, we also got a back here who's one of the best in the league. We pay $30 million a year to at one point. We should just feed this guy like the tattoo on his stomach.
Yeah, you got to feed him, man. You got to. That's the recipe for success. Even with that game yesterday with Green Bay and Tampa Bay, Brady threw for 170 yards. You want your defense to come out and play well. You want to be able to manage the game, not put that ball at risk much. He came in last week needing to throw the ball, and he did a good job. He got him down the field, got him a win. And Andy Dalton, he's capable. He's been a starter for a long time in this league. He has better weapons now than I think he's ever had in his career. So he definitely can get hot. But like I said, the game plan coming in should be for the Cowboys to feed Zeke, play through him, and let Dalton manage it.
By the way, Andy Dalton under 286.5 passing yards. Kyler Murray over 286.5 passing yards. Make that a parlay. It's plus 273.
Whoa. Hey, what?
Yeah. We won't judge you in a parlay bet style here whenever this goes on your record. We'll make them two separate bets for sure. But putting those together, which make a lot of sense, plus 273 feels like a great bet.
Pretty tasty.
That feels like I'm literally putting it
treat.
as we speak right now. These shows are very expensive for me. Oh, but only gamble as much as you want to win. What's your big takeaway from the weekend, Darius? There's a lot of storylines. That Todd Bowles defense down in Tampa looks like they are feeling themselves at the moment, as they should be.
Yeah, they came out, and I picked Green Bay to win it. Obviously, with A-Rod playing how he's been playing all year.
Me too.
That's I expect him to come out and do the same thing. But I never seen A-Rod look like that, like he looked last night. They were getting after him. Todd Bowles dialed it up. Those young guys have been playing well all year. They got after him, pressure, made plays through. He really throws picks through two. So I was very, very impressed with that Tampa team. And, we got to take them a little more serious. And I still think Green Bay will be right in it at the end. So I'm not counting them out. Bad game coming off a bye week. I think he picks up where he left off last week. But so I'm still, but I got a lot more respect for Tampa. And the most impressive thing they did was go wire to wire with no penalties. Like, how hard that is to do in the game, especially coming off that Thursday night game where they were super, super sloppy against the Bears. So to come out from first quarter to fourth quarter and have 0 penalties, that's pretty impressive by BA and the squad.
That's damn near impossible, especially in today's world. And it feels like the refs are getting a bit more flag happy than they were earlier in the year. Everybody was talking about how great of a job they were doing earlier in the year. And they're like, well, let's change shit. So I don't understand that. But when you talk about that Todd Bowles defense, D-Bud, as a man who played, obviously, safety, corner, had a lot of success, knows everything, watches a lot of film. Last year, earlier in the year, they stunk. Then by the end of the year, they're like a top 10 defense or whatever in basically every statistical category. Whenever they come into this year, everybody's like, oh, they're only going to get better. They're only going to do this. It took them a couple weeks. But that defense yesterday, what is it about the defense? Like, do you just have to learn what the hell to do? You have to learn where other people are? They're young, right? Does that mean they have to learn what the NFL football is? Like, how does a team defense gel and come together? Because if it's just calls, doesn't everybody kind of run a cover 2? Okay, here's cover 3, same shit. What is the biggest difference for a defense really coming together?
Well, Bowles knows how to get and keep a quarterback uncomfortable. And as far as the young guys on the back end, they're kind of growing together. You see Winfield coming in as a rookie, playing good ball. So that lets me know it's good coaching going on. Same thing with Blackman and Indy. It's good coaching going on. And if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm coming to a GM or owner, I'm saying, hey, just give me 4 guys up front that can cause havoc on the quarterback. I can figure out the rest regardless of who's back. If you give me 4 guys up front that can get after the quarterback, same thing you see in Chicago. Those guys get after the passer. And now you got a defensive mind like a Chuck Pagano or a Todd Bowles, who, as we both know, some of these guys don't like everything that come with a head coach. They get back on that sideline, they're calling defenses, and that's kind of where they're best at. And Todd Bowles, I think he will be a head coach again. But, last night was very, very impressive. Not only in the back end, I think he started up front. They kept A-Rod very, very uncomfortable, and that's what you got to do, especially to the great ones.
What did Ndamukong Suh say to Aaron, you think?
Ooh, I don't know, man. They probably got, I'm sure, a bunch of history, playing so long in the same division.
Well, yeah.
But the thing about the defense, if I'm coaching the defense and I've been coached up, is just being around that quarterback, hitting them, whether they complete it, whether they throw it away, hit him, touch him, bump into him, talk shit to him. That all that shit adds up as the game goes on. Even if you're not getting sacks, you're not getting pressures, but you're just like, damn, plays bone dead. Run past him anyway, bump into him anyway. So they did a lot of that last night, a lot of that yesterday, and that's really the only way. You can throw these great quarterbacks off.
We're talking to Darius Butler, 9-year NFL vet in the secondary, both at corner and at safety. Whenever you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers defense yesterday, first of all, I was watching something while they were hitting Baker. It was, I think you're the one that said, I want to know which ankle's hurt. You said it. So, and then we asked AJ Hawk, by the way, and AJ was like, oh, that's a good piece of information to have, basically, basically in a roundabout way. You know, when I was watching them sack Baker yesterday, I think at one point there was somebody that tackled him with a double fist straight to his ribs. Then there was a sack happening. Bud Dupree was holding him up. I think TJ Watt came in punching the ball, obviously, but his elbow, I think, hit him right in the rib. It felt like there was an actual bullseye right on the guy's ribs, which, by the way, is in the strike zone, so there's literally nothing Baker can do about it. But it was awesome. Not awesome. I mean, it kind of sucks. But it was intriguing to watch them. Wait, we are trying to make this guy's life a living hell right now, and they did. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick with a pick six in the second series very early. Baker was getting hit the entire game. They never found a rhythm. That Steelers defense has the chance, I think, to be legendary at this point.
I mean, they can be a Super Bowl defense. That can be a Super Bowl winning defense. And I don't think we've seen the best of, Big Ben yet this year. I played against Big Ben. He's one of those quarterbacks that once he gets in a rhythm, with weapons around him. Unfortunately, you've been on the sideline and you've seen him throw for 400 or 500 yards. And he can do that. And I don't know if he's still that guy, but he still has weapons around him. Claypool is one of your guests on here. He's a monster. You got Juju, who I think will probably be the best number 2 in the league, one of them. And then you got all the other young guys who are coming around. So if they start picking up and start playing their best game and the defense continues to play like they're playing, they should, I think, right now be in that Super Bowl conversation. The only thing I'm worried about is them losing Bush on the defensive side for the year to an ACL. But if somebody can step over and replace him, which I think they will, Keith Butler's been doing an amazing job on that defensive side, man. So if they keep playing like that, that looks like could potentially be a Super Bowl winning defense.
Juju does a lot more than just catch balls, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Leader.
A lot of people forget.
Huge TikTok phone.
He is it's not about TikTok inside that locker room, okay? What I'm saying is he's a morale booster.
Yeah.
When he's out there doing his, you know what I mean? He's a glue guy. You need that for a team, especially. I mean, 6 yards yesterday, no big deal. What else did he do? Probably blocked very well, if I had to guess. Probably lifted up his teammates a lot like that, I would assume. A lot of clapping. Here we go. Yeah. If he's going to be a distraction, a la what Tyreek Hill is for a lot of teams, I mean, let him do it, D-But. Let him do it.
Nah, get open and catch the ball. That's what I'm interested in for a while. Get open and catch. Bill Belichick, I heard him tell the whole team, hey, receivers, you got 2 jobs. Get open, catch the ball. TikTok, all that other shit, do that on your own time.
Hey,
that morale booster. You're getting paid too much to be a morale booster.
Hey, Pittsburgh has turned on Juju.
Big time.
I believe a lot of Pittsburgh is slowly turning on Juju. I hope Juju has another big game. It was just 2 weeks ago he had a massive game. He'll have another one. Connor, what do you got?
Yeah, Darius, New England lost to Denver at home, giving up only field goals. So my question for you is, do the Patriots fucking stink now, or do you think we'll turn it around?
I definitely think they'll turn it around. You got Buffalo kind of in the driver's seat right now in that division, and Miami's competing as well. But I'd be a fool to count out Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. Cam's coming off of who knows what's been going on in that building with facilities, practicing, not making any excuses. But he didn't look like the Cam that was before COVID, pre-COVID Cam. So I think he'll get back on track. That offense get back on track. Definitely not going to worry about I wouldn't push the panic button on the Patriots at all, man. I think they'll still be right in it at the end when it comes to winning that division.
Connor already did. Connor said they stink. He completely turned on them.
I mean, I didn't completely turn on them. I don't think I said they stink.
Yeah, you did.
I heard it.
You'd be correct if you did, though, say that.
Well, I don't think so.
Hey, were you teammates with Vrabel?
Mike, no, he was gone.
Did you see his move yesterday? Did you see his move yesterday where he got a too many men penalty with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left, so they would have to stop the clock and he wouldn't have to waste a timeout, and then they brought him back out? Yeah, he did like a super football move a la what Belichick would normally do. And it's intriguing because if that doesn't work out, he's an idiot. Everybody says he's an idiot. But it worked out and he scored with 4 seconds left, so he's a hero. I like what Vrabel has done to that culture down there in Tennessee. They feel like they are ready to go for the long haul as well. Tannehill, 13-2 or 12-3 in his last 15 games as a starter, all of those being with the Tennessee Titans. His stats, his passer rating, everything. Here it is. Ryan Tannehill has now started 15 regular season games for the Titans. He's 309 of 443, 3,966 passing yards, 35 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, 258 rush yards, 5 rushing TDs, and he almost tore his knee on one of them. And the Titans are 12-3 in those games. Shout out to Field Yates for those stats. He's become a completely different player out from underneath Adam Gase. And that team, whenever Derrick Henry got that ball at the 5 in overtime, everybody knew what was going to happen. And the fact that he was pulling away from people on that 94-yard run. It wasn't just linebackers. There was corners he was pulling away from. It feels like it's a cheat code. And this Titans team, they're in it. The AFC is loaded this year.
It is. It is. It's going to be it's going to be some good playoffs. It's going to be a good end to the year. And that team, they kind of slide under the radar. I don't know how, but like you said, you put up those Tannehill numbers. And me, being a South Florida guy, I always keep my eyes on the Dolphins. So I've seen Tannehill throughout his whole career. And, Gase was kind of obviously holding them back. You see with Robbie Anderson, you see with a bunch of players around the league. But Tannehill's been playing at an MVP level. I saw Orlowski call him a top 5 quarterback. And still, you should see, like, Tannehill top 5. But when you watch the film, you watch him play, you look at the record, you look at the numbers, everything about him says top 5. So as long as they keep 22 healthy in that backfield, he's going to have every opportunity he can want in the pass game because 22's got to be priority number 1. I mean, he's a guy that is 6'4", 260, and can go 95 yards from you. Like, you don't have too many cats like that walking around the earth. So Tannehill's in a great position. Vrabel's been doing an amazing job with that culture on and off the field. For them to come out and beat Buffalo like that with no practice, essentially, and then come out again and win a divisional battle in overtime against the Texans, man, hats off to Vrabel and everything he's been able to do down there in Tennessee, man.
I just got a little birdie in my ear. Said Derrick Henry ran 21.6 miles per hour on that run. 21, speeding in some school zones at 6'4", 260. Good for him. That's absolutely unbelievable. Good for the Titans. And good for us getting a chance to hammer Andy Dalton under and Kyler Murray over out of the brain of Darius Butler, host of the Man to Man podcast. Thank you so much, D-Bo. We appreciate it. See you, brother. All right, before we get to a break here, he's, by the way, so smart. We got a couple breaking news things here. Taylor Lewan put out some tweets about his update for his knee. I didn't get a chance to read through them. Do we have them potentially ready to go? Taylor Lewan says, I wanted to let everyone know I got an MRI today. I tore my ACL yesterday against Houston. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm going to handle this rehab like a pro and come back better than ever. Thank you, Titans fans, for your support. # no bad days. Then he said, I can't wait to watch my guys crush it. I'm going to be the biggest Titans fan each and every Sunday. We're doing something special here, and this small setback doesn't change a thing. So there we have it. We have confirmed second ACL torn off of NFL Week 6 Sunday. Devin Bush of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans, Taylor Lewan. Also, we have some update here out of the Carolina Panthers. Panthers announced players, coaches, and staff will work virtually today and tomorrow after there was a positive COVID-19 test. The team is in the process of confirming the test. Okay, so let's get to a break. COVID has come back to the NFL with the Carolina Panthers. We had a little bit of a study going on whether or not COVID-19 makes you better at football because the Tennessee Titans got COVID-19 and they just blew the doors off the Buffalo Bills on Tuesday Night Football. Cam Newton potentially set our theory back a little bit. Now we will find out with the Carolina Panthers. 27 minutes into this hour 2 here on this Monday, October 19th. We'll get some phone calls and reactions to the news we just learned about here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, Sirius XM.
I like Pittsburgh a lot. I think Pittsburgh's healthier. I think Cleveland's beat up. I think it's hard to run the ball on Pittsburgh. I think it'll be a scoring game. I think you can move the ball on the Browns secondary. I think Big Ben played well last week. I like Pittsburgh. I'll lay the 3.5.
I'm taking the Steelers minus 3.5. The Brownies just aren't good in Pittsburgh. 18-39-1 against the spread their last 58 games as a dog. 7-23-2 against the spread versus a team with a winning record. 1-7 against the spread their last 8 road games, and 0-4 against the spread their last 4 versus the AFC North. And the Pittsburgh Steelers in October, their last 78 games, 51-25-2 against the spread.
Quite a sample size there, my friend.
Hammer.
A sample size.
I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers as well.
Oh boy.
Okay. So not always good that we're always on the same thing, but also could be very good that we're all on the same thing. I mean,
It's worked before.
By the way, initial belief too, not just like you guys had talked me into being on the team. So initial belief, leader in clubhouse is on board. I could see how a guy like Richard Sherman, who's been in the league a long time and has had success, could be like, hold on. This young little isn't going to dap me up. But on the flip side, Baker's like, well, you're enemy number one for me. Because that's how Baker has always operated. And now Richard Sherman says, so you don't see any difference in the way I shake everyone else's hand and the guy who stands back with the petty shake was BS and I took offense to it, then turns and runs off. It's not that big of a deal. It swept the nation yesterday. It was controversy like no other controversy in the NFL world. Joining us right now, Richard Sherman. Everything you do and say is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Baker Mayfield is also a man that everything he does and says is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I wouldn't agree as much, but sure. So I put my hand out, just out of courtesy, and he gives me a little petty slap on the hand, and I took it as disrespect. People can say, "Oh my God, he shook your hand," like, "What? Oh my God, you were wrong." You can say whatever you want. I don't give a damn.
Is there anything you'd like to say, like, "Hey man, I apologize for the misquote there. I did see on video the dap up, although it was a bit petty. I apologize for everything that happened," or are we just moving forward?
Oh, it's gonna be a bit of both. It's definitely my bad. I never want anybody to have to deal with some shit some stuff that they didn't do. And so I'll probably reach out to him via text or social media to actually get a hold of him and talk to him in person. First off, that was a great name y'all came up with, like Dapgate. I was crying laughing. But yeah, he definitely deserves an apology, and that's my bad on that.
Richard, I'll tell you what, bro. To show the humility right there to say, hey, my bad on that entire thing. Once I watched the film back, it was different than what I thought. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot more respect for you. They should at least. I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Ooh. Not a bad little song here, huh?
It's a good smooth jazz, or
to be 100% transparent in the way things operate here is, I was going to play that other song that I remember was good called Motivation, but they tried to take our whole show down the last time we played it.
Yes.
That's right.
That song.
Who sang that song? Charlie Henry. Colin Henry.
Colin Henry.
You son of a
Carl
bitch.
Henry. Colin Hank. Wasn't his fault.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Maybe.
It was his record label's fault.
Well,
but we did say, do you have a song that doesn't have a record label so we can play it? And Colin Henry sent that banger in.
If I ever learned something from, what was that movie? Straight Outta Compton, the record labels always fuck things up.
Yeah, and you got to take a baseball bat to their entire office sometimes.
Or else
There's a lot of talk about that right now, by the way, with Kanye doing the entire Kanye thing about how he said he's willing to die, basically get his masters back and all that stuff. There's been a lot of conversation because I guess he also has a record label where there's some people on it, I guess, that don't potentially own their masters. So I guess the music industry has been one that has been stealing from people for a long time. I actually watch, sorry, not stealing from people. Well, yeah, kind of actually. I guess they've been stealing creativity. I watched an interview with Prince, and I never really saw Prince talk much.
Great basketball player.
I feel like, no, Prince, the musician, I saw him. He did an entire interview where he broke down the entire music industry, and about how we don't need them anymore. He was trying to lead a revolution. Basically, you don't need the record labels anymore and everything like that. And it was interesting because that was like 25 years ago. And now the same thing is going on right now in the music world. And it's interesting because whenever you're coming up as a musician, I would assume you see that money that they could potentially give, and you're like, okay, here's an advance. Here's $1 million. I just became a millionaire. And then if you actually strike and you get rich because of that $1 million, whether it was in them playing you on the radio and doing everything like that, you automatically are just feeding the pockets of the people that saw the talent and paid you up front. And then they wrap you into like 10-year contracts and they just completely screw everybody over. And this is just like whenever players started negotiating their own contracts with the NFL. And the big thing was reporters talking about how players need to use agents for these contracts because they'll get taken advantage of. And then you start looking into that a little bit. It's like, well, the reporters and the agents are very tight. So if the reporters want to talk about how important the agents are, you have to wonder, why are they doing that? Do they really care about the player, or are they looking out for potential friends and business partners of theirs? Which, by the way, either way, you can judge that for yourself. But it was always celebrated whenever teams would fuck over a player who negotiated his own deal. They would always be like, oh, the insert name of team here just took advantage of this player who decided to negotiate his own deal. He won't be able to do this, this, and this. And it was like, why are we celebrating somebody fucking over somebody business-wise? And it's because that's business. That's just how they feel it goes. And that's the whole thing. But then you start seeing players start to negotiate their own deals, and it's starting to work out better and better and better. I hope the music industry, especially with the ability to be independent and get your music out, hopefully that'll change over there as well. But feels like old Kanye is getting write-in votes in different states and potentially changing the music industry forever. Hopefully that'll happen. But they've been battling that for like 25, 30 years at this point.
Do you think a lot of college kids now will be looking to kind of learn about the business a little more so they can make their own deals?
SoundCloud, right? I mean, that is SoundCloud. You could upload your own song on there and maybe gain a little bit of hype. Oh, you're talking about football?
For football, yeah.
Well, so the interesting thing about rookies is there's no negotiation for your contract. I guess there's guarantees that you can negotiate, and you saw Bosa a couple years ago hold out because of guarantees. You're slotted immediately where you're drafted. Okay. You are slotted. So if you're a potential free agent, I guess you could need an agent that has to reach out to places and get you pool that you can't have yourself. But if you're going to get drafted, you're slotted. This is the amount of money you're making. This is how long you're signing for. This is everything. So maybe get agents for off the field stuff if they can help you out and all that. But it's becoming a very much content creators world where everybody kind of handles their own business, and it's only a matter of time before everybody owns their own business anyways. 10 years, 15 years from now, the internet's a modern day gold rush right now.
Do anything.
I was flabbergasted is the right word at this one person that was making a living off the internet, and they have zero redeeming qualities. Zero. Really? It wasn't like they were special at anything. They were maybe the most average human I've ever seen in my entire life. And they're like, oh, this person makes $3 million a year. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? My dad used to wake up at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. this guy. And now we got this just basic ass human making money on the internet. And that's what the internet is. And I think everybody will be like that. I think the younger kids, though, are much more woke. But agents, I think agents will always have a purpose of some sort, right? They can get indoors and have conversations with people, but I think we're at the point where everybody tries to at least know a little bit more about their business than they maybe did in the past.
I think it was Macklemore in the music business who didn't sign anything, and he made, 2 good songs, and then he was set for life.
Actually, that whole entire album is a banger. Actually.
Oh, really?
If you now listen, I'm not a big Macklemore guy anymore. I don't know if he's really songs, but that entire album is a fucking heater.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a...
Go back and listen to it again.
He deserves a little bit more respect for that entire ad. Him and Ryan Lewis put together a banger, a smash. What's up, Nick?
Just an update. Colin reached out. The claim has been lifted. You're free to use the song again.
Oh, really? Okay. Good news. Good news.
Taking the word for that? Or?
Yeah, is that from his record label? Or?
We have some breaking news here from Adam Schefter. More info, he tweets, on Eagles tight end Zach Ertz. He suffered a high ankle sprain per source. It is likely to sideline him a month, as he and Mortensen have reported. I did not know that happened yesterday. I had no idea that we're potentially looking for a Zach Ertz injury. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles aren't at their best. They're 1-4 1-4-1. Their head coach said in a press conference that that's exactly where they should be, 1-4-1. Yesterday, they got to experience the Lamar Jackson effect at home. Zach Ertz, who has been in a conversation about a contract extension since the beginning of the season, now going to be out for a month. That obviously hurts an Eagles team that's already a wounded bird flying through the sky at a very low level, because the NFC East is wide open, but 1-4-1, you're going to have to win more games at some point in time.
I mean, the Eagles are they the biggest train wreck in the NFL aside from the Falcons?
Well, the
Jets,
dude. The
Jets
are
are
still.
bad. I don't even consider them part of the NFL anymore.
It is. A lot of people are calling for them to get relegated like the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It's about time.
Let's go to the phones.
It's about time.
Let's go to K-Dog in Chicago. What's going on, K-Dog?
Accountability.
First of all, that is slanderous language right there. But happy overreaction, Mad Dog Monday. Pat and the boys, how we doing?
Oh, I'm done with it. Can't do it. Let's go to Kyle in Louisville. What's going on, Kyle?
You're a Blackhawks fan.
Hey, Pat and the boys, how y'all doing?
Hey, not too shabby. Now, that guy, K-Dog, I did hang up on.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, he's
somebody.
an asshole.
Yeah, it wasn't an asshole. I mean, it was just take it easy, dude. Just take it easy. What do you want to talk about, brother?
All right, so I was watching some of these other lower-tier sport networks that come on early morning. They go by ESPN and Fox.
Oh, God.
So they were talking about Aaron Rodgers throwing those interceptions, and that affected his confidence level for the rest of the game. I have a hard time buying that because this guy's an elite player. He's been elite his whole life. I don't think what that defense does affects him at all. I just want to know what y'all thought about that.
Great question, Kyle. And we knew, and I would assume Aaron did as well, after how good things have been going for the Packers and how great his conversations with us have been on Tuesdays, and with them getting quoted everywhere and him flexing a little bit like he should, by the way, and everybody's saying it, we knew that there was a lot of people potentially just waiting for his downfall.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for him to have a bad game, and they would bounce on it. And they did, by the way, and rightfully so. And I would assume that Aaron feels that way too. Like, yeah, I had a bad game. I don't know if his confidence was rattled because of picks or Ndamukong Suh ending up in his face every single play, or somebody else I'd never heard of getting a sack on every third play. I mean, he was rattled, I would assume, by the amount of lack of time that he had, and Bakhtiari's probably out. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that as opposed to just throwing a pick, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think it was the pressure. I mean, like, he's been throwing from a clean pocket pretty much every game so far this year, which is why he's just been slicing everyone up, but he was under duress almost the whole day. And you're right. I mean, you knew that there were a lot of writers who took it as a personal affliction towards them when Rodgers said the thing about the media, so you knew people were going to shit on him if he played bad.
They were ready. Let's go to Tevin in Pittsburgh. What's going on, Tevin?
What's up, P-Mac? How you guys doing?
Not too shabby. How yins doing over there?
Man, I'm great. It's a victory Monday over here in Steeler Nation.
Hey, bingo. Bingo, dog.
Hey, first, I just wanted to say fuck Cleveland. Fuck the Browns. Still the same old shitty Browns and same old shithole Cleveland.
It's true.
Cleveland's actually a very nice city. I would like it to be known.
Yeah.
You can say...
I don't know what
went
Cleveland
there once
you went
and
to.
it smelled like shit.
Pittsburgh. Hey, by the way, that is a very, very interesting thing to talk about from Pittsburgh, about smelling of a place being bad. I mean, literally 20 years straight, worst air in the country.
It still smells better.
It smelled like great and coal. America's
OBJ
built on
moved
it.
there, though.
All right, Tevin, what do you want to talk about, man?
I just want to know when people are going to start putting respect on Big Ben's name. He's been doing this for years now, got the ring, and people are still hating on him.
Great question, Tevin. That's real, though. And I've always said that the reason why is because the off-the-field stuff. And that stuff ranges from charges a long, long time ago to him going on local media and potentially throwing his wide receivers under the bus a little bit. But then you have to think back to when he did that. Antonio Brown and he, I don't think were getting along very well at all. So the fact that they were even able to coexist should say something about Roethlisberger. I think this team, this potential young team, loves Ben Roethlisberger. I think you've heard a lot of players come out and say that. He's come out and said that he wanted to play strictly because his offensive line loves him and he loves them in the talented skill positions at wide receiver and running back. He gets along with them great, and the defense is awesome. I don't know. I do believe it's because the off-the-field stuff that Ben never gets talked about, but it happened in the NFL too. I've said on numerous occasions that I've sat in team meetings before playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the conversation never revolved around Ben Roethlisberger slicing and dicing the defense. It was Le'Veon Bell or something else. And whenever you would play when you'd play Aaron, when you would play Tom, Drew, when you would play these quarterbacks at the top that are considered at the top, the entire game was like, hey, we got to stop this guy, we got to stop this guy, we got to do what we got to do to affect this person. It wasn't really like that with Ben Roethlisberger. And then a couple of days later, I would be sitting on the sidelines for the games, and Ben Roethlisberger would throw for 500 yards. And it happened on a regular occasion. And I often wondered, I was like, why? Like the next time we played him for a Thursday night game or whatever on Thanksgiving, and this comes after like back-to-back years of him having 500 yards. I was like, all right, this has to be the week where they're like, hey, let's go ahead and eliminate. And they didn't for whatever reason. He just never got talked about as one of those guys. And I think if you're from Pittsburgh, you get to see a lot more of him. I'm not sure the national media does a lot of coverage of Ben Roethlisberger strictly because as soon as they start covering Ben Roethlisberger, everything that he's ever done off the field gets thrown right in their face, and they're like, all right, let's just go ahead and not even talk about this guy. Is Pittsburgh a big enough market for us to talk about? Yes. Are the Steelers fans big enough for us to talk about this? Yes. But is this something we want to deal with, the immediate blowback that is going to come as soon as we mention him? Probably not. We'll talk about the Dallas Cowboys 100 more times. That is kind of how it all goes. But if you look at what Roethlisberger's been able to do on the field, the dude is legit. He is a stud at the football. And there's nobody that really plays like him. He is one of one. He's a perfect quarterback style for Pittsburgh Steelers and for the city of Pittsburgh, but he just does not get a lot of talk outside of the Steelers fan base.
No, yesterday he was incredibly impressive. He was putting the ball as accurate as I've seen him in a long, long time. So it's good news for us. Goodness.
That he's back?
Oh, well, yeah, but he's back and he's also playing as good as I've seen him play as far as accuracy wise.
Do you care that anybody talks about him or not?
No, we're not a fan base that needs that.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
We just show up and do our job. We'll see you in the playoffs.
We'll just show up and work, dude. No big deal. Stadium going to be sold out every game. Who cares? All right, let's just keep it moving then. Mike Tomlin had some real Mike Tomlin-like quotes in that press conference after the game, by the way.
Always.
Just Mike Tomlin. There's another guy that doesn't get enough respect. It's Mike Tomlin. Yeah. Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, I would assume, have conversations about how everybody can eat shit, basically, because those two, top of the class, never get talked about. Is it because Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, or why is that, I wonder? I do wonder that now.
Well, it's because they're not as flashy as like Kansas City's very, very flashy right now. Lamar Jackson's MVP, so you're naturally going to talk about those teams first.
Well, I think with Big Ben too, his Lord and Savior's talking about him. That's really all that matters.
Yeah. That's Peter North. I am performing for an audience of one.
That's right.
Peter North is not who we are referring to. Let's go to John in Philly.
He changed religions recently.
What's going on, John? He did.
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby, John. What do you want to talk about, bub?
One, I want to shout out to you and all the boys for getting me through quarantine. I had to do it twice in my room, and you guys, every day I watched you for the whole 2-3 hours. Got me through it.
Oh. You had to do what twice? I'm so sorry.
I had to quarantine twice in my own room.
Twice? Oh, because you had the COVID?
I was in close contact with two people who had it.
Oh, okay. Hey, show me who your friends are. I'll show you who you are. You know what I mean? And I'm very thankful that you're safe. What's that, Nick? What was that face for, Nick? What is that all about?
What was that saying?
I don't know, dude. I'm happy you're all right, John. What do you want to talk about?
I wanted to know your favorite, team trip story or locker room story.
John, there's a lot of them. I think my favorite is just the plane rides home after wins. I think I've talked about that. It's a club in the sky with a bunch of incredibly legendary humans having a blast. It is so much fun.
Coming back from London one time was a little eventful.
That was a high. Yeah, it was very high there. We got to see the Northern Lights, too.
Yeah. Cool. Those were pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, yeah. It was very cool. Yeah, the trip back from London was a nightmare. So if you win, you get to leave first.
That's the victory.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you leave, you get to win first, or if you win, you get to leave first. The losers have to eat food for an hour.
Tea and crumpets.
An hour and a half. No, it was like our. I don't know if we took it, to be honest. I don't remember. I think it was sandwiches. I think it was sandwiches.
Gross.
Wait, why is that though?
What's that?
Why can't they both leave at the same time?
Because I think going through the airport, it's like a.
Too much attention.
You got no, not too much attention. You got 200 people all going through at the same time, I think. So it was we left after they got to go first, and then we got through there. So we had to wait an hour or whatever, hour and 15 minutes at the stadium. Everybody's miserable.
Yeah.
Everybody. We just lost the Jacksonville Jaguars in London town. I mean, this is a bad day to be in Indianapolis. Cold. It was a game that Blake Bortles punted a ball into the stands after he ran in for a touchdown. I mean, he flexed on us. Walt Anderson screwed us over a couple times. I mean, there was a lot that happened over there. Beautiful country, great people. Did not expect to love the humans of England as much as I did because they are hilarious. Great personalities. Everybody seemed to have a great personality. I thought that I would hate them strictly because I hold grudges. 1776, long time ago. Yeah. Turns out completely wrong. Great people over there. We stayed in a cool hotel. That game was miserable, and the trip home, I had to down 15 edibles.
Jeez.
So that I didn't get arrested at the airport.
Is that like the motivation before the game? Like, hey guys, let's run the ball hard, let's tackle well, and let's get the hell off the tarmac before the Jags.
Didn't know it until after the game.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Something they should probably
kind of got that news like leaked to us in the locker room. Like, well, since we lost, we have to leave second, so we got to go eat right now.
No, I would have played harder.
Son of a bitch. It wasn't bad. I mean, that trip home though. There was a Domino's game where there was some screaming going on.
Oh, boy.
Antonio Cromartie got cut, I think, immediately after that game.
Because of the Domino's?
No, but he did teach me how to play dominoes. I've always played cards. I was always a good card player. Played a lot of cards. Played every style of game, basically, that you could potentially play with cards, whether it's the super white euchre game or Tonk or any of the other games in between. I mean, I've played a lot of card games. Dominoes I never got into. And on that trip back, while I was, 7 miles in the sky with those edibles. Yeah, above. I was floating alongside the plane. Antonio Cromartie taught me how to play dominoes. It was very nice of him. He got cut later. Yeah.
Never play dominoes again.
Not on a plane, not on an NFL plane. I don't think he was a very nice guy to me. Very, very nice to me. He also kneed me in the face whenever he would.
I was gonna say.
Let's go to Jack in Fargo. What's going on, Jack?
Fargo.
Hey Pat, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, you got Fargo, North Dakota there.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Well, don't you know we're in the Fargo?
Thank you for doing that for us. I mean, you did pander for us. We appreciate it. What do you want to talk about there, brother?
I want to talk about my Minnesota Vikings. They had a tough day yesterday. Matty Ice came into town, pounded Kirk Cousins through the ground.
He did, yeah.
We just signed him to an extension this offseason.
Smart.
What do you think about the Vikings' chances this season and going forward with Kirk at our quarterback?
I think 1-5 is a tough place to be for anybody. Mm-hmm. I did pick the Vikings, who were completely defeated at one point, to be the team that potentially turns it around. Then when they get the big win against the Texans, I believe the Vikings got the big win. I thought, okay, this is the time it's going to turn around. We had Thielen on the show. I was like, Thielen, he's like, we're enjoying it. We're still doing. We know it's a couple plays away or whatever. I don't know if I've lost 100% faith, but boy, it does feel like that Vikings team is just going to be a team who potentially lions this thing, where they might be in games, but then they're going to lose them. And I don't know why, and I don't know what happened from last year to this year, but it does feel like that could potentially be it. Remember, there's a lot of football still left to be played for a lot of teams, but the NFC North right now, the Packers yesterday, it happened. The Bears are 5-1 right now.
Tough sledding up there.
Wow.
I mean, the Lions are 2-3 at this point.
Solid 2-3.
I mean, there's a lot going on, but it does feel like this is not the Vikings' year.
Yeah. Well, Dalvin Cook's hurt too. You got to put more on Kirk Cousins' plate. What happens when you do that? He throws a lot of interceptions.
He did too. It was not good yesterday.
You had Fields in there. I mean, that's a young team that's got a bright future if they fail for Fields.
Oh, you're talking about Justin Fields?
Yeah.
1-5. Obviously, they are in the running currently for a potential top 5 pick. I don't know if anybody's going to topple the New York Jets, who are not going to win a game.
No.
And we had a source last week. That told us, hey, they are trying to do what you are saying they're trying to do. And I was like, what's that? And they said, lose to get Trevor Lawrence.
The Jets?
Checks out.
The Jets are... Now, granted, players aren't going to do it. Joe Flacco was out there trying to win games.
Yeah.
And at this point, Joe Flacco might be just a sacrificial lamb that they're rolling out there. Stand tall in the pocket, let us kill you, and then you're going to suck. But what happened yesterday with the Dolphins, I mean, Tua got in. Tua got in, and nobody thought that was going to happen. They stink. And I think they're going to continue to stink. And it's not the players' fault. Like, hey, players, you're okay. The guy coaching you, though, is just a known loser. It's a fire sale happening. They traded a D tackle at 8:05 yesterday. They traded a D tackle at 8:05 after getting shut out against the Miami Dolphins with Ryan Fitzmagic, who looks very good, by the way. Love that little moment between he and Tua when Tua went out there. By the way, Tua, I think 100% passing.
2 for 2, 2 absolute seeds.
Oh. And by the way, him rolling left in the back of the end zone, I thought he was going to get tackled for a safety. And then it was actually a perfect out pass. Good for him. Tua looks like he could be a guy. Now, granted, that was probably against the second or third stringers of a team that is a second and third string team at this point. But that's a big day for the future down there in Miami. And Tua obviously sitting on the field afterwards. Cameron Wolf, who I'd assume is a reporter down in Miami, says Tua Tagovailoa went back to the field and he's sitting around the 15-yard line in full uniform. It looks like he's soaking this moment in. On November 16, 2019, Tua suffered a potentially career-ending injury, and on October 18, 2020, he threw his first NFL pass. Wow. He's sitting Native American style at the 15, full pads on. The stadium is completely emptied. I would assume this is after the entire team situation in the locker room where a little rally cry, okay, B-Flow, okay, Fitzmagic, team on 3, 1, 2, 3 team, and everybody kind of wraps it up. He went back on the field and soaked in a moment. Really cool. Never get to see this type of thing. And I don't think a lot of players would do this. The fact that Tua is doing it, I think, is awesome. It is alleged he was FaceTiming with his family to let them know like how cool it was and everything like that. The fact he didn't take his shoulder pads off, very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Does this guy love football so much that he just wishes he had his shoulder pads on at all times?
Yes.
Or is this guy a serial killer who doesn't know that it's a lot more comfortable without your shoulder pads on?
Might be both.
Either way, it sold me. I mean, he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler.
I like
you sit on the field like that.
You love football.
Love football.
Love football. By the way, gotta love football if you think you're going to take Ryan Fitzmagic's spot or fill in for Ryan Fitzmagic. Yeah. I like Fitzmagic, by the way, getting the crowd hype for Tua and everything like that.
Beautiful moment.
Gumpy, as a Dolphins fan from North Left Canada, what did you see out of the Dolphins yesterday that makes you thrilled for the future?
Things are looking up, and I wouldn't put it past them to sneak into a playoff spot this year right now.
The interesting thing about the Dolphins is they already have their quarterback of the future. So they're not trying to tank at all.
No.
Winning games is good. It doesn't matter where they draft at. They got their guy for the future. They might go on a run.
Yeah.
Maybe the Dolphins go on a goddamn run. Why not? Why not the Dolphins?
What if they win tonight? They're game out of the East. Is that correct? Or sorry, if the Bills lose tonight.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Why not us?
Why not?
Well, especially with the Patriots and Cam Newton potentially having, the thing that's going on with them.
Yeah, they're dead.
Do they stink? Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Tell me.
What is the best brand for my balls? Manscaped, of course. Hold up. Is that a nose pube? Good thing our partners at Manscaped are here to ensure you're taking care of your manhood and your nose hairs with their new Performance Package. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. It includes in the new package, it includes the Weed Whacker ear and hair nose trimmer, which is waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. Jeez. They also have the Lawnmower 3.0, which is the greatest trimmer for your baby maker or your entire body. Oh, yeah. And it will also have other great things in this incredible performance package. And right now you get 20% off and free shipping with the code PAT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code PAT at manscaped.com. Go take care of your nose. Trim the bushes so the tree stands taller and feel like a better person at manscaped.com. Code PAT for 20% off and free shipping. Hour 2 wrapping up. On the other side, we have AJ Hawk and AQ Shipley. Woo! This is Overreaction Monday, October 19th.
Los Angeles Lakers, welcome to the Blender, the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's an NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in Vienna. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans. That's how you play basketball.
Pittsburgh a lot. I think Pittsburgh's healthier. I think Cleveland's beat up. I think it's hard to run the ball on Pittsburgh. I think it'll be a scoring game. I think you can move the ball on the Browns secondary. I think Big Ben played well last week. I like Pittsburgh. I'll lay the 3.5.
I'm taking the Steelers minus 3.5. The Brownies just aren't good in Pittsburgh. 18-39-1 against the spread their last 58 games as a dog. 7-23-2 against the spread versus a team with a winning record. 1-7 against the spread their last 8 road games, and 0-4 against the spread their last 4 versus the AFC North. And the Pittsburgh Steelers in October, their last 78 games, 51-25-2 against the spread.
Quite a sample size there, my friend.
Hammer.
A sample size.
I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers as well.
Probably.
Okay. So not always good that we're always on the same thing, but also could be very good that we're all on the same thing. I mean,
it's worked before.
By the way, initial belief too, not just like you guys had talked me into being on the team. So initial belief, leader in clubhouse is on board.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello! Hour 3 here on this Overreaction Monday, October 19th, 2020 of the Pat McAfee Show begins right now. Joining us for this beautiful hour 3 here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. We have a man who's a national champion and a Super Bowl champion from the Ohio State. And we have a man who is still in the NFL, current center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Penn State Nittany Lion. Whoa. I'm not sure these two have ever been on at the same exact time, but boy, I feel like if they don't know each other, they are going to like each other a lot. AQ Shipley and AJ Hawk.
Yeah! Let's go.
How's it going, AQ? Real quick before we dive into football, great to see you, AJ. By the way, you look fantastic. AQ, thanks for wearing the mask. It's going to take all of us.
I've always been a big believer in the COVID, so I'm just trying to do my part. You know?
For those that don't keep up with the show and might not have known us before we got on Sirius XM, AQ Shipley, before he was in Tampa Bay, he was in Arizona. And while the entire state of Arizona seemed to not believe in COVID, AQ was making sure everybody was wearing masks all around Phoenix, and that's why he's a real hero on and off the field. AQ, before we get to the football talk, I know you're a big hockey fan, co-host of That's Hockey Talk with Nick Morotto. Doc Emmerich, legendary voice of hockey, one of the most smooth, excitable, incredible candor individuals to ever call a game, has retired. Do you have any thoughts on old Doc Emmerich as a diehard hockey fan from Hockey Town?
That's just the year 2020 for us, right? I mean, God, he's been a legend in the sports world for us, Hockey Town, USA.
Yes, bingo.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know?
Take it easy. Evan, he's a guest. Shut the fuck up.
It's a tough one. We're going to have to listen to a bunch of slap picks calling games now. I don't like it one bit. But here we are. It's 2020 for you.
All right, let's talk about football in 2020. I listened to Tom Brady do an interview with EA, Aaron Andrews, and he talks about how normally in his world, he was the constant, and then new people were coming to him for the offense. This year, he gets dropped into a brand new offense, and he thought that without the preseason games, it actually potentially affected him this year, and he never thought he would say that in years past. Being in the building as a man who was a late signee in training camp to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what has it been like kind of watching that team come together? Because, by the way, this is something we all thought was going to happen, but yesterday against the Packers, defense, offense, special teams wise, everything seems to be clicking down in Tampa. What is it, and how's it been to kind of watch the team come together?
Yeah, it's been cool. There's no question about that. I think everybody kind of knew that. There was a lot of moving pieces with this team, including myself, right? Coming late and just kind of getting there and watching all the new pieces kind of come together. Getting Fournette late, right? And you really haven't seen a whole lot of him, but he's going to be coming back here pretty soon. And we got a lot of talent offensively. We got a lot of new pieces, and you knew it was kind of going to be a work in progress. And they spent a lot of money on defense, and they built this team around defense. And man, did they show up yesterday in a big way? They looked incredible. They've looked incredible for us all year. And with Tom, it's going to just keep getting more comfortable every week. And I think you just kind of saw him scratching the surface yesterday. AQ, I know there's always rumors that Tom was leaving New England. Sorry for you Pittsburgh guys, but leaving New England because he wanted some more power, wanted more say. Like, what's it like in Tampa now with him at the helm? Like, is it similar to what you've seen at other teams and how their quarterback is? Well, it's you can't question obviously his ability. You can't question his resume. So. This is the first time I've seen input get put into a BA system, which is crazy. He believes in his system. It's won Super Bowls. He's a very firm believer in his system and how it works. And so watching Tom kind of get a little bit of input and kind of get to tweak a few things here and there, it's been cool. And they obviously work, and you obviously trust it because he's been so good for such a long time. So, I've been in this system, I think 9 out of my 12 years, and just to watch it kind of evolve a little bit further and do some different things with Tom has been cool to watch because he definitely has his say in some things.
Now, it looks like this is paying off. What is the differences? I mean, you hear the commentators talking like, well, he doesn't want to have to throw it 55 times. What are some differences in the BA system? Because you listen to Carson Palmer talk about BA system. He's like, first year is in it, he threw the most picks he's ever thrown in his entire life. Jameis Winston, he obviously threw, 30 picks last year. Tom threw a couple early. What is it about the system that could potentially be, difficult for a new quarterback in the system? And what are some of the little subtle changes that we could potentially keep an eye on for?
Yeah, there was a couple questions there. I think I'll start with what is the most difficult thing. I think in most West Coast schemes, there's not a lot of reading. All the hots and sites are built into it. In this system, it's all, a team starts in cover 3, they roll to cover 2. There's a whole lot of intricacies, moving parts real quick in a split second that quarterback, receivers, tight ends, everybody's all got to be on the same page. And from an offensive line standpoint, it's always we're always kind of looking at things based on, the shell, looking out over the slot. Can he come? Can he not come? And really, they take it a step further, seeing who can cover, who can't cover. So there's so many different kind of moving parts from that standpoint. But he's 40 whatever years old. He don't want to get 7-step and get hit a bunch of times. So I think the quicker he can get the ball out, and him being just aware of where everything is and his hots, his sights, and kind of who he's going to throw to kind of pre-snap, I think will help him out. And I think it's showing it as he gets more comfortable from week to week.
Hey, Q, I know you have a long you go back a long ways with BA. Is he what's he like in Tampa compared to what he's been like at other places?
He's the same guy. I mean, it's funny because he's relinquished some of that power from calling plays. Byron Leftwich is doing all the play calling, and but he's still the same fiery guy. I mean, if he sees something and he's in the golf cart, he's getting out of that golf cart and motherfucking people up. That's who he is. That's who he's always been. It's good to see. It's good to see him still have that. He's not a man of many words on leading up to games or even on game day, but there's such a presence about him. There's always been a presence about him. I think, Pat, you can attest to that. And he means business, and what he wants. And a few words go a long way in his case.
The night before the game, different coaches have different strategies for motivating because there's always this team meeting the night before the game. You've all seen the Hard Knocks clip where Rex Ryan gives a full thing and then he goes, "Let's go get a fucking snack," and then he just walks out. Like those meetings with BA were next week. Let's have a highlight film. Let's have speakers. Get the fucking job done. And we watch a highlight and then we're done. That was literally all he talked about. And I think he said one of his first meetings was like, I think he even said, like, I'm not one that likes to talk before games or whatever. I just want to look you in the eyes before the game and see if you're scared or not. I want to know if you're a scared man or not. And if you are, I don't want you on my team. And if you aren't, let's go and get it. Like, that is literally that is how Bruce Arians operates on a day-to-day. It's like, I just want to look in your eyes and see if you're scared or not. And I think, to be honest, that's why BA and I got along so much, because I would, my faux enthusiasm be like, oh yeah, we go, hey, we can go fucking get this, BA.
A wall with that one.
Yeah. I think BA is one of those guys. And yesterday you saw Rob Gronkowski like go big, like he went ham in practice. You've got to see the behind the scenes here. We've only seen the public conversation that has happened with, the original conversation was maybe Gronk isn't the same Gronk. Maybe he doesn't want to get hit. He's been out for 2 years. Maybe he's pulling back on some balls. Then the conversation went to BA saying, we got wide receivers. That's who we throw the balls to. We're not throwing the balls to tight end. Then Gronk comes out and says, I'm a blocking tight end. Like, if that's what they want me to do, they want me to do. Behind the scenes, has it been obvious that you guys are trying to work in Gronk more and more? Because on game days and in public, it looks like Tom Brady's like, I know you guys want him to block and all that, but he's top 100 in the history of the NFL at tight end, and we have a lot of records. Let's get him the rock a little bit more. Have you been able to feel that behind the scenes?
I think it's one of those things where, he's always involved. We got so much talent at the skill positions, including the tight end. I mean, this is as good of a tight end room as I've ever been around. I mean, obviously we lost O.J. Howard, but I mean, to start the season, you had him, you had Gronk, you had Cam Brate, right? I mean, those are 3 stud tight ends. So there's only one ball to go around. I think that's all BA was trying to say, right? There's so much talent in the receiver room. There's so much talent at running back. There's so much talent at tight end. There's only one ball. It was just a matter of time before he got his touches and he got his catches, and they've shown up in a big way. definitely yesterday. He had the big touchdown. He had the big ball on the little over route, and I mean that's you're going to see more and more of him. I mean, he's obviously one of the best, if not the best, tight end to ever play, and you'd be kind of a fool to not get him involved, right?
Hey, what was the feeling like leading up to this game? I mean, I think everyone was excited to watch it. I don't know if everyone expected you guys to beat him like you did. Was it different this week?
You remember those games, AJ? I'm sure. I mean, those. You're getting ready to play an undefeated team. You're getting ready to play a big matchup. It just feels different that week in practice, right? I mean, I think Thursday. I mean, Coach talked about it all week, and we had a really good practice Thursday, and it was kind of one of those things. And it was like, hey, listen, we won this game on Thursday with our practice, which is coach speak in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, we showed up. Everybody kind of knew it was one of those big games, and we had to we couldn't afford to lose 2 in a row, especially, we're getting ready to play Vegas this week, which is another big game. So I think everybody kind of had just like a little bit more sense of urgency this week. And it showed up on Sunday. I mean, it didn't show up right away, but once we got rolling and got a little momentum going, it was good to see.
That defense is stupid over there. In practice, do they give you guys I would assume they give you guys problems in practice.
I mean, if we just take the talent away, if we just don't even talk about the talent, you just talk about the scheme, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. I mean, I remember in training camp when you don't have to worry about game plan and you don't have to worry about anything, and Bowles is just dialing stuff up every day. It's something different. And there's so many different schemes. He's so creative in how he gets to what he wants to get to, and it's a nightmare trying to identify it. And then, not to mention, you put Will Golston and Dominican Sue, JPP, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Devin. I mean, the list goes on, and trying to block those guys. Especially when you get in those uncomfortable situations at 3rd and 6 or longer. And they can kind of just dial up what they want to dial up, and it's a nightmare.
Hey, but you guys, your defense, you have to have special guys. You have to have very intelligent players too, I think, to be able to run a scheme like that and to run it well, and not just have a bunch of missed assignments and free runners all over. Could you tell that these guys are different on defense?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, they're smart football players. Sue's played a long time. All those guys have played a long time, right? So they got all those little intricacies. They know how to jump the counts. They know how to see the things pre-snap, and there's so many. You're right. I mean, there's so many different things, especially when you're dialing up all that stuff, knowing who to peel, when to peel, all that stuff. But end on back or whoever it is, right? And you've seen it time and time again where somebody doesn't peel and then they got a 80-yard touchdown, right? So you're right. You got to have the guys, and I think we have the guys. I mean, I think it's showing up on Sundays too.
Somebody in the comments section just said, his name's Carl Mailman Malone, says, I feel like this guy with the red mask knows all the fire barbecue spots low key in every city. You do, by the way. That's a great read by Carl. It's
a great read. It's a great read. Not many good ones in Tampa, though. I'll tell you that one.
Oh no. Hey, speaking of, let's talk about Tampa. Since your arrival, obviously the Lightning win. Now the Tampa Bay Rays are in the World Series. The Buccaneers are getting hot. Do you think you are potentially a reason why Tampa Bay has become such a hot spot for success here in the sports world?
I told Nick and boys whenever we were on Hockey Talk, listen, I just find different cities and become the city of champions wherever I go. It's a pretty cool thing. It happened for a while in Pittsburgh. I brought it down here. I think it's me. I don't know. I think it's the red mask and the same 6 outfits that I wear daily.
Speaking of same 6 outfits, you do live like a college human as a full-blown adult now at this point. You will wear the same clothes every single day, and you will not slow down, even if it smells like absolute dog shit. You will...
Weekly outfits and Crocs. That's my go-to.
Yeah, you are a big Crocs guy. You and Luke Combs for sure. Let's talk about college, okay? Because you two obviously Big Ten folks coming back this weekend. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the Big Ten's decision to? And this is going to crash our numbers on the internet because nobody cares about the Big Ten on the internet. I've learned, but nobody, AQ, fucking nobody cares. We'd rather people.
Who do we care about? The Big 12? Is that who we care about?
No, we don't actually. It's SEC or nothing on the internet. But the Big Ten comes back this weekend. How do you feel as a Penn State alumni, obviously, as a man that played for Penn State, notable Penn State, Joe knew everything. What are your thoughts on the Big Ten coming back as a Penn State alum, dude?
Yeah, I think football is good for everybody. I think it gives you something to just kind of take your mind off of the world, right? It gives you something to take your mind off of everything that's going on. And I think a lot of people have expressed that. And the Big Ten getting back, I think, is a great step. And we've got a big clash Halloween against the old Buckeyes over there.
Oh, you guys got a chance? You guys going to keep it within 20, you think?
It's tough. I mean, they've been really good for a long time now.
They're both top 10.
Penn State's top 10?
Penn State's 7 and Ohio State is 5.
Oh, yeah, so you got to feel James Franklin's doing the right thing. You guys are number 7 in the country and I haven't even played a damn game. James Franklin is a guy, I think I've heard you say, that you feel like can take the team right to the top if he had to.
Yeah, I mean, with this whole delay thing.
Please.
This whole delay thing caused Michael Parsons, one of the best, if he's probably gonna be a top 5 pick, to opt out. I don't like that move one bit. I don't like it one bit. Hey, let's move this one on. Huh?
Go ahead, Zito.
Hey, AQ, did you talk to Tom about the fourth, him thinking it was 5 Dons?
No, see, apparently the Sticks crew had it wrong. That's what happened. The Sticks crew had the 3, so he was like, "What's going on here?"
Is that breaking news?
Wow.
Yeah, is that breaking news right there?
What I've been told. Wow. He's the greatest to ever do it. He's not forgetting what down is. Let's be honest with you.
What is he like as a human, by the way? Is he just a robot of him? I saw him selling some chocolate on the internet. I was like, okay, this guy might be a robot, but he seems to have a good personality. Then he did that Howard Stern interview. I got to learn a little bit more about him. Is he a robot? Is he a real human? What is he as a teammate if you got a chance to learn about him?
Yeah, no, he's a great teammate. He's a good guy. He's one of the guys who just happens to play in every other Super Bowl and win 6 of them. That's the only other thing.
So he's not a robot?
No, he's not a robot.
Does he towel whip?
Does he what?
Nobody towel whips in 2020, dude.
Really?
All right, that's it. Hey, Q, what do you got for the day? You got anything going on? Is this body recovery day? Did you guys have practice? You go over film? Not much wrong.
We did the normal 11 to 3, watch, or whatever it is, 11 to 2, watch the film, get a lift in, keep it moving. My parents are in town. They drove down.
Nice. Oh, nice.
I'm going to show them around Tampa, show them some barbecue spots.
Yeah, nice. Well, we appreciate you. Congrats on the win. Keep it moving. Can't wait to see what you do. By the way, end of the game, I saw him run right behind you the entire time, pal. Right behind that fat ass at center right there.
I appreciate that. Specimen. That's what I was told. That's what I read on the internet, right?
Amen. That specimen, ladies and gentlemen, is AQ Stripper. Did you ever meet him before, AJ? Did you know AQ at all?
I have not. No, I've never really officially met him.
Just one of the most ridiculous humans of all time. Just outlandishly ridiculous human being. Just you two would get along very, very well.
Might be best friends.
Yeah, you might be the same person, kind of, actually. I mean, at this point. AJ, we didn't get a chance to talk to you about your favorite things from the weekend. We have to get to a break. Is there some things that we could tease that you would like to hit on the other side of the break here?
Well, I'm excited for the one of the Monday night games tonight, both of them, but specifically the Red Rockets return. He's in the starting lineup to take on the Arizona Cardinals. I can't wait to see Cowboys-Cardinals. We can break that down a little bit.
Red Rocket, good friend of yours. Mike McCarthy, former coach of yours. I mean, you got a lot invested in the Dallas Cowboys, which you predicted to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I'm intrigued to talk about that. Also, Chiefs-Bills, a lot to talk about. And some more phone calls, 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. This is the McAfee Show here on SiriusXM, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
His top target, the burner on play 1, puts the Cougs on top.
What a start here in New Orleans, Adam. Everybody talked about De'Aaron King being a runner. The Tulane defense knew that. It almost felt like he was going to do it. Then he pulls up and drops a dime to Marquez Stevenson to start in an electrifying fashion, Matt.
The fridge, Pat, is back to punt. Ryan Wright.
I love this man. 6'3", 255.
And he hits a bomb for the break. The Fridge saw his team was in trouble, trotted out on the field, and hit a bomb.
Yeah, and then I walked all the way through here, down here, sweating profusely, I'd assume. Up an elevator back here that will be loaded with humans. Up, all the way down here, into here, kickoff. Let's call it.
That is absolutely magical for the brand and for Dane Roy. They had 2 returners the entire first half. They They put one back there. The ball goes over his head. Perfect bounce, perfect coverage. Good for the University of Houston.
Student section or in a weird place, maybe a remote area, and you have my mic on, ready to roll, my mic on, ready to roll, my mic on.
Doing it for the brand. It's the Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Overreaction Monday, October 19th, 2020. The song you're listening to is Uncle Sam with a K and two M's. Hands up. The boys are feeling it. They're vibing. Not a bad Monday here. I would appreciate if you got to the fucking beat a little quicker. There we go. All right, welcome back to the show. AJ Hawk joining us, Super Bowl champion, national champion here for this hour 3. Tonight, Cardinals, Cowboys. Are the Cardinals going to look like they looked the first couple games and against the Jets, or the Jets just stink? And what will the Dallas Cowboys be able to do now, one game removed from one of the most gruesome injuries we've ever seen on a football field with Dak Prescott? Andy Dalton takes the helm of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, as they play host to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. The Dallas Cowboys get a big win last week. Andy Dalton drops a rock into Mike Gallup's arms down the sideline that sets up for the dub. How do you see tonight going? Everybody on earth thinks Big Mike is just going to feed Zeke. Do you see him doing that? Do you see the Red Rocket just kind of managing the game this evening for the Cowboys? And how do you feel it turns out, AJ Hawk?
Well, I think Andy, the Red Rocket's going to have a great game. I think they absolutely want to be able to commit to the run and commit to giving Zeke the ball. But what happens if they don't have any success in the first half and they're down 14 points going into halftime? What do you do? Do you think they commit to the run still in the second half?
No, you got to go with Andy Dalton, a man who has led the Cincinnati Bengals, a team with no scouting staff, basically, to the playoffs in the past. Never really had that much success. But whenever you talk about this Dallas Cowboys team, the first conversation has to be, okay, what are they going to do on offense? And then immediately after that, you have to say, that defense hasn't been able to do jack shit against anybody, basically. And the Giants had a great field day. Darius Butler said, Kyler Murray, the over-under for his passing yards tonight is 286.5. He says hammer the over. Nothing on the Dallas Cowboys defense film has shown that they will be able to stop this Cardinals team. You don't think that this is potentially a blowout tonight with the Cardinals maybe saying hello on prime time, that they are a team that's for real with Nuke and Fitz and everything they got going on the defensive side of the ball? You don't think this is going to be a blowout? You think Close game, huh, with your Dallas Cowboys and Red Rocket and Big Mike?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it may be a shootout. It may be one of those fun ones to watch.
It might be a blowout.
I just got this weird feeling over me. I think it's going to be a blowout. This doesn't happen on a regular basis.
In which way? Which way? Cowboys could blow them out.
See, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Now, the last time you and I were in a booth together was in Jerry World, and Cliff Kingsbury was one of the coaches on the sideline, and he did not have a great game down there, okay? So is Cliff Kingsbury scared of Jerry World? Not 100% sure if that is true or not. And is that offense that started out so hot, are they going to be able to maintain it? In my head, I'm starting to think that the Cardinals win by 10.
Yeah, but what Kyler shows up?
It's prime time. This is a team that if you want to be respected and if you want to be a big-name guy, a guy who was drafted in the top 5 in both sports, baseball and in football, you think prime time you'd play your best. I think the Cardinals win tonight by 2 scores.
Whoa! Hey, you are allowed to have your opinion. The great thing is, we will get to see. We will know tonight. Yeah. What time is this game on?
This game is the late game.
8 o'clock. 5 o'clock game is Bills, Chiefs. 8 o'clock game, ESPN, Cardinals, Cowboys. I got Cardinals. Oh! Yeah. I feel that. I really like that one. And by the way, I was on the Cardinals early, and they lost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this could be me just not learning from the past here, but I like them a lot tonight. The more and more I think about how are they going to be able to stop them? How are they going to be able to stay? It feels like that defense can't do a damn thing.
They can't, and they haven't done a whole lot this year. Dallas, they definitely have not. I know they're talking about having a Jalen Smith guy kind of spy him, but you can't really spy Kyler with one person. It's more, it has to be the whole of the rush that kind of keeps him hemmed in and makes him feel uncomfortable. That's why he's throwing picks. I mean, Kyler's thrown 6 picks this year. You just have to hope he gives you at least 2 tonight if you're Dallas.
Okay, so do you think Big Mike will have in the game plan to feed Zeke early, and if it doesn't work, he'll abandon ship? Or do you think Big Mike is maybe an old dog you can't teach new tricks? He's a guy that the quarterback's going to have to make all the plays.
No, I think he'll stay with it. If he feels like they have good matchups in the run game, he will absolutely want to stay with it. And he doesn't just want to air it out. Like, Big Mike wants to physically dominate every team he plays. Like, that's really what he wants to do. But sometimes when you're sitting there and Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback and he can do things with his arm that nobody else on the planet can do, you have to throw a little bit more.
No Chandler Jones for the Cardinals either is huge for the run game.
Yeah, is there any thought that Dalton might go off and beat the Cardinals by 14 points?
Oh, maybe. I guess this is a great game for Monday Night Football.
Pat, could you have envisioned what happened with Green Bay and Tampa Bay? Would you have ever said, especially after they jumped out to the 10-0 lead, they're gonna score 38 unanswered?
I said this last week, and I got mocked on the internet by some guy that I was going to say something, but I don't know him well enough to talk to him. I just know him about his tweets, and said that I pointed out an obvious thing, which, by the way, part of being a daily show host is to do that. In the NFL, a 2-score lead is nothing anymore. It is fucking nothing. The Bengals were up 21-0, and before half even happened, the Colts were up. It's just the NFL points are so easy to get, it feels like, at this point. Even teams, Phillip Rivers led offense, right? Which we thought was potentially going to be a running offense. They scored 24 points like that. Yeah. It's an insane time in the NFL. And I don't know if it's because there's no fans and the defense can't live off it. I don't know if it's the rules that have made it a lot easier to play offense. I don't know if it's any of that. I don't know what it is. But it feels like any offense at this point, aside from the Jets, can score at any time that they want to.
6 straight weeks where a team has been down 16 or more and has come back to win.
That's not normal. That's not normal in the NFL. That is just not normal at all. And now it feels like there's no lead safe at all. So you're right. I guess the Cardinals could get hot, and then all of a sudden Dallas Cowboys do what they did to the Falcons at the end of that game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we will get to see. I'm a fan of Kyler and the Cardinals too. I like what they're doing. But I just think it's almost like, hey, a new quarterback, he's doing this for Dak, the Red Rocket. He's going to put the team on his back and do this because he likes Dak that much.
LeBron did that for the Mamba. They went on to win the whole thing. Maybe Dalton will do that for Dak. That'd be very cool. 2 different circumstances, obviously. One passing away, rest in peace, Kobe. And the other one getting one of the nastiest injuries we've seen in some time. The other game, Bills-Chiefs. How do you see this one going? The Chiefs have been a team obviously loaded with talent, and they add Le'Veon Bell. He can't play, but he'll be in there next week. And they haven't really put their best foot forward, I don't think, even in their eyes, on more than, 2 occasions this year? There's been a lot of hit or miss football. And the Buffalo Bills, they were balling until that Tuesday night game against the Titans. How do you see this one playing out, AJ Hawk?
I see the Chiefs getting back on track here tonight, and I think their defense plays well too. I think they keep Josh Allen confused, and I still think Josh Allen's a stud quarterback for a long time. He will continue to be, but I think the Chiefs they're too good, and I think they do it tonight. I think their defense steps up. They turn the ball over. They get Josh Allen to turn the ball over a few times, and Patrick Mahomes rolls like always.
Patrick Mahomes over-under for his passing yards is 305.5 yards. That would be a lot against that Bills defense and Bills team. Do you see him throwing for over 300 yards against the Buffalo Bills tonight?
I mean, that's why I guess it's a good thing that I don't gamble on sports and stuff like this, because I don't know how I would.
What are you talking about?
How I could bring
your
myself.
life is a gamble, AJ. Okay,
Think about that.
Your life is a gamble, AJ. Especially now in this COVID world where we don't know anything about it anymore. This morning I couldn't even get a COVID test because it was raining outside. That is a fact. I was told I couldn't get a COVID test because we don't do COVID tests when it's raining outside. So who knows what we know about COVID? Your life is a gamble, don't you? You should gamble on sports with your big old brain and chin over there.
If I did, where would I do it?
FanDuel Sportsbook. It's not in Ohio yet, so just fucking hold your horses.
Is there a chance that this is like a little bit of a revenge game because the Bills didn't get Lev Bell and he was choosing between the Bills, Dolphins, and Chiefs?
You know what? You're right. Put it up on the dry erase board up there. This guy chose the Chiefs over us. He's not playing tonight, but just send a message to the rest of the team that probably hasn't even met him yet because he's in quarantine still. Let's send a message to the entire team.
That's what you get for choosing the Chiefs.
It's
not the Bills.
Bro, I'm intrigued to see what Bills show up. I think just alongside Darius, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen in that game. That game could go both ways. That game could go both ways, and we'd be surprised, obviously, if the Bills go ahead and win this one. But I think if the Chiefs go ahead and it'd be like, well, the Bills are the Tennessee Titans Bills all of a sudden. There's a lot at stake tonight for both of these teams, both these quarterbacks, both these organizations, and for the NFL as a whole. This is a big AFC matchup. AFC East, AFC West here. Here we go.
Mahomes did lose back-to-back games in 2018 and 2019. Something to think about.
Oh, so this is something that does happen.
Yeah.
That's a gumpy nuke right there. What's going on?
Do we know the health of Buffalo's cornerbacks? Because I believe both of them didn't play against the Titans, and it was very apparent that hurt them.
Well, it's still questionable right now.
Oh, thank you, Gumpy. Did you hear Connor, by the way, just completely cuck your whole thing?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, let's go to Pepe in Mexico. What's going on, Pepe? Pepe.
Yes. Órale, cabrones. Happy Overreaction Monday.
Hola, aquí estamos, mi amigo.
Sí, sí. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo Pato?
Oh, muy bien, muy bien. You, pal?
I'm doing good, so let's fucking go.
Okay, let's do it.
That's awesome.
What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, just one quick opinion, and then I'll ask a question for you guys. I heard some people get upset by some words, so that's fucked. Can I say fuck? Is that a bad word?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, it sounds good when you say it, too.
All right, so fuck it.
Bingo. See.
Quick question for the athletes like AJ, yourself, and myself. Several high-profile athletes have endured season-ending injuries. Can you guys tell us how hard it is to come back from an injury and what these people may go through?
Pepe, great question. We appreciate your call. Muchos gracias for everything, man. The rehab process is a nightmare. Like, you always hear oh, that person's going to rehab and they'll come back. And you always hear the redemption stories and they always say, well, they went in there every day and they worked hard. It's like, it is miserable. It's painful. It is no fun. It's a lonely existence because you're not really around many people. You can't really do much. Rehab is a pain in the ass, but it's a part of the profession, to be honest. It is a part of the job, rehabbing your injuries. Dak's going to have to go through it. As of today, 2 more ACLs have been torn in the NFL. Taylor Lewan, Devin Bush, absolute studs for their teams. That's going to affect their organizations, but the rehab is just a nightmare, AJ, and that can't go understated enough.
Yeah, but it's something that if you are playing sports, especially football, like a combative sport, it's just part of the game. It's what you do. Surgeries are part of it. You know you're going to have surgeries. You know you may break some things. And rehab is, that's what you do because this is how I get back on the field. So, yeah, it's tough. The hard thing, I think, for most people, we see Dak, he posts a day or two after surgery or right after surgery and talks about how excited he is. He's going to come back. Out of the gate, you're good. Out of the gate, everyone's good to go. It's like 3 months in, when you got to continue those tiny little leg lifts and different things for your quad and whatever you're rehabbing at the moment, that's when it makes it tough. And I've never had to go on season-ending IR. That's really difficult, I think, for a lot of guys because it's like, all right, next man up. It sucks. You could be a surefire Hall of Famer, but it's like, hey, we got to keep it moving here, man. And the guys, like, they're not ostracized, but they're kind of just left out in the cold, it seems like.
Yeah, they're out because you're not in the meetings, you're not doing anything. Your rehab is happening either before or after the rest of the team is, so that you don't take up any spots while the team's in there that's playing. It's a fine balance mentally and physically of keeping yourself sane. My favorite is like when you're 3 months into it with a leg injury and they have you sit on a seat and they ask you with your toes to roll in a towel, and that's like your workout for like an hour, okay? You just gotta bring in a towel with your toes. And it's like you're 3 months into this thing. You might have just ran a 4.2 40. You can jump 45 inches in the sky. You can fly around. And here you are, 2.5 months removed from the surgery, and they're asking you to move a towel like 4 inches. And it's like, that's every single day now. Now, not only do you have to do this, and you have to get something scraped there so your scar tissue doesn't end up. It is a relentless process that I don't think gets talked about enough. You always hear like, well, he went in there and he made it on the other side. It is a kick in the ass. It's the worst part of being a professional athlete, I think. Aside from, it's the worst part of being a professional, is it just comes with the gig, though. So Dak, Taylor, Devin, everybody else that got hurt, there are numerous names. It's like right now their life is very different than what people talk about. Oh, they get to be millionaires and do whatever. It's like, well, there's a lot of guys that are currently trying to teach their leg how to walk again. Mm-hmm. And they're expected to be back next year, by the way. And if you're not playing good, we will fire you. So you will make no dollars after that. It's just part of it. Just part of the process, AJ.
You know what it's like, Pat? When you say like no one sees the process and how tough it was, this person may have been rehabbing every day 6 to 9 months. It's like when somebody other than your wife, other than you're living with, has a baby. You're like, oh wait, you're already 8 months pregnant, man. It's been an easy pregnancy for you, hasn't it? If you don't really see the person much, or they have the kid, you're like, wow, those 9 months went very fast. And then if you talk to the mom, she's like, it absolutely didn't. I puked the first 6 months. I dumped my pants the next 3, and then I finally had the kid.
Is that what happened?
No, luckily I wouldn't have had 4 if that was the case, but yeah.
So
it can happen.
So does pregnancy is it a nightmare there? You've had a lot of kids, obviously.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky. My wife does better when she's pregnant. It calms her down for some reason. She loves carrying kids, I guess. So we haven't, but yeah, like early on, they're puking, they get sick, and everyone has different issues if you're lucky enough to get pregnant when you want to.
Yeah. I think Jesus.
It's got to make sure you vote too, Pat, coming up.
Yeah. Go vote, please. Let's go to Zach in Michigan. Jesus.
The kids, huh?
I didn't know it was like that.
I'm starting to think.
Hey, I'm sorry, Zach. I'm starting to think of it more because when you have a puppy, it just poops all over the thing. Yeah. This is a nightmare. I don't want to deal with that.
Now, if your wife is pregnant and she's just randomly dumping her pants, you should probably go to the doctor. Like, that's not a normal thing.
Oh, you're the one that said.
Yeah, you just said all you do is poop your pants and throw up,
yeah,
AJ.
That's literally what you said.
And it's usually talked about when women are actually pushing the baby out is when that can happen.
Yeah.
They let out a big dump.
Yeah, my kid's going to be a big shit anyways. Let's go to Zach in Michigan. What's going on, Zach?
Come out with the poop.
Yeah.
Not much. How you doing?
I was born in it.
Molded by it.
Sorry, Zach. Sorry. AJ just told me that if my wife and I go on to have a child or whatever, she's just going to be pooping all over the house. And that was a wild scene because all I could think about was Chuck, our corgi, that just poops all over the house. So I need
too bad.
What's going to happen here? But I guess that's not going to happen, which is good news. We got that clarified.
Didn't happen. For the record, it did not happen with me and any of my 4 kids. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Well, I'm just saying Twitter Jack just made a little thing like there are some falsehoods in said statement here. You cannot even read it. So I'm happy we cleared that up. Sorry, Zach. What do you want to talk about, Zach?
Yeah, you guys are all good. This show is absolute comedy. I love it every day. I want to talk about my Lions out there. Obviously, Overreaction Monday, everybody's favorite. I'm out here overreacting like crazy. We got 4 of our next 6 games against one-win teams with the Falcons, Texans, Vikings, and Washington football team out there. You think my boys can go ahead and make a playoff run?
Zach, it's a shame, by the way, that the Red Wings stink and the Tigers stink and everything like that. Sorry about that, Zach.
Why would you do that?
I just want to, because I think it should be celebrated, these wins, because they don't come in abundance in Detroit. And AJ, I don't know if you got a chance to hear Evan earlier this show. Big win against the Jaguars, and he said Jaguars thinking Stafford had one of the nicest throws I've seen in some time around somebody. Looked like a submarine pitcher in baseball, which is in the World Series, by the way. Congrats to baseball getting to the World Series. But when it comes to the Detroit Lions fan base, Overreaction Monday is any day that happens after a W for them, right? And the overreaction from these Lions fans is insane. Foxy said he thinks they can rattle off the next 7 games. Like boom, 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 boom. Foxy, you still believe that to this moment right now?
1,000%. All right, we got the Falcons, win. Colts, win. Vikings, win. Football team, win. Panthers win. Texans win. And then the Bears is going to be an absolute bloodbath now that they have Nick Foles in there. But I think that is a win.
AJ, I heard you saying no chance, especially with that Falcons team. They just learned how to play football now that Dan Quinn's gone. The Lions fan base is very excited, though, AJ.
I'm not saying they can't go on a run. Yes, their schedule sets up for them to go on a nice run. But hasn't Foxy already had Matt Patricia fired like 4 times this year?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He traded Stafford a couple weeks ago. He traded Stafford.
Steelers sold the team.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Let him go somewhere else that'll use it, sir. I feel bad for him. Let him get a ring.
He called him a big fat stooge.
Oh, yeah.
He did. AJ, by the way, I'm happy you kept receipts because here on this Overreaction Monday, we kind of skipped over the fact that he already tried to have the Ford family sell the team numerous times. It is very interesting, the Lions fan base, but if you look at the schedule, now let's talk about the Falcons though before we even get to that because that is the first team that they play. Do you think Dan Quinn was telling them not to throw the ball to Julio Jones? That looked like a very different Falcons team yesterday against the Vikings. I mean, they throttled the Vikings yesterday. Is it because Dan Quinn left? Is that why that happened, AJ?
I mean, it looks like an indictment when you say that. Like, is Julio in a message? Is Julio and Matt Ryan sending a message like, hey, we love Raheem. We want Raheem to get the full-time gig?
It does feel like that, huh? Because they're not just playing.
The owner did say if he goes undefeated, Raheem will be in consideration for the head coaching gig.
By the way, great answer. If he goes undefeated, which would mean he has to win a Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Because you would lose at some point there if you don't win a Super Bowl. He will be in consideration. Very nice of Arthur Blank. Very, very nice of him. That Vikings team, though, they're in trouble in the NFC North, 1-5 at this point. Got their asses beat by Falcons, and I don't know how you fix that or turn that around. Hopefully they are because we like Vikings. We like their team. We like their players, but they look like a very different squad than they did last year. Chicago Bears are 5-1. Nobody knows how they're winning. Nick Foles just went on an impassioned speech about that team kind of learning about each other and everything like that. And the Packers, after that game against Tampa, if you're a Lions fan, you got to be like, well, if that Aaron Rodgers is playing against a Todd Bowles defense every single week and he loses offensive linemen every single week, the Lions think they're in the driver's seat almost for the NFC North at this point.
1,000%. I think we're only a half game out of the playoff spot right now, Pat.
What do you think about Aaron Rodgers, Tampa Bay, and everything that happened yesterday? He shouldn't have done 3 pumps. I mean, I led off the show with it. Football gods knew.
Yeah, they look.
And you just can't do that type of thing.
They did. And I'm sure I got so many texts from people after this happened. I'm sure you did as well. But if you look at some of the comments of what Aaron said after the game, he even said, like, yeah, we were up 10-0. And I think actually LaFleur said, like, we weren't like in sync early in the game, even when we were playing well. It was like Aaron was extending plays and making great throws. Like, they had to really work for it. If you saw when they did score early, it seemed like it was a lot harder than it normally was for Green Bay. And then they got after him. They hit him, 12, 13 times, sacked him about 4 or 5. They were all over the place, man. Like, when you have a great scheme like that, it can be so multiple and blitz all the time. And hey, if we're 2-on-1 on the back, like those two of the best linebackers in the league, we're 2-on-1. We're both going to blitz them and make them pick one of us up and keep them in, and one of us is going to get to the quarterback probably. I mean, they have this great scheme mixed with unbelievably talented athletes, and so it's all kind of coming together, I think, right now.
Did you think that Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Rodgers hated each other before yesterday, as your friendship with Aaron is? And do you think that after – I think they had some very interesting encounters there between old Suh and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, there was a lot of encounters during – his time in Detroit with Green Bay when he stepped on Evan Dietrich Smith. Mm-hmm. He step on TJ Lang? Multiple things happened.
Stepped on Rodgers' calf as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a scumbag. I mean, everyone knows.
Whoa!
Everyone knows it. He proves it.
What's the saying? There's no love lost there? Is that the saying the old guys use?
Yeah. Is there any chance Aaron tells us what they said to each other?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you know what you have to do? You have to tune in tomorrow and see.
Ooh, that's a tease for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, and I appreciate you doing that a lot. Let's go to Bobby Johnny down there in West Virginia. What's going on, Bobby Johnny?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bub. What's going on there, pal?
No, nothing. You didn't hear me Friday, but I told you I really appreciated you having Chase on the show. That was really cool. Enjoyed hearing the story.
Chase
Overreaction Monday.
Go ahead.
did Rivera make a huge mistake going for that 2 point the other day?
No, I think with that team, with where they're at, Ron Rivera was sending a message to his entire team. We're going to go for it this year. The Kyle Allen thing is very interesting because I talked about this yesterday with Nick. We were watching the game. Ron Rivera legitimately said, yeah, I'm fucking Dwayne Haskins not my quarterback here. Yeah. That is literally, he just came to an agreement at one point with himself or with his staff and was like, that guy's not going to be who we are basing our success in this particular organization off of. We're not having our jobs rely on that guy. We're going to have Kyle Allen. And I don't know if Kyle Allen is the long-term answer in Ron Rivera's eyes. Maybe, not 100% sure. I assume they're going to be in a market for a quarterback this upcoming offseason. Who knows how many draft picks they have? That's something we should have known before we started talking about it. But I like the going for two. If you're a team that stinks, and I'm not saying they stink, but if you can steal a win, I mean, let's go. Let's go ahead and steal a win here, put it down on one play, because who knows what's going to happen if we go to an extra period. What's up?
If they win that game, they're in first in the East. Like if they can make that 2 point conversion.
Got to go for it. He rolls left, ends up getting hit, throws an incompletion. I mean, it's just for those teams in the NFC East, I think they're going to be trying to steal wins however they can at this point.
The issue is, I think I saw Ron Rivera say this morning that if he was at home, he would have kicked the extra point because he was on the road. He went for two, but there's no fans. Like, so what the fuck does that make?
I like that. I like that. Just go at coach speak. Like, well, since we're on the road, we could steal a win here with one play, the whole thing. I don't know. Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it. His name's Riverboat Ron. Are you surprised? I mean, that's what his name is as a head coach.
I completely forgot about old Riverboat Ron. He's a gambling man. He's a gambling man down there, and he went for it. There was another 2 point conversion that somebody went for.
Cornell.
Romeo Cornell went for it, and the announcer was not happy. I mean, the announcer.
The lineman stepped back and knocked it down. It was open. They were gonna complete it.
They were not happy though. That puts them up 9, by the way. Game over.
Yeah.
And the announcer, whoever it was not happy. I think it was Rich Gannon. Maybe
it was Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon was not happy with it. He was, you go up 8, make them make the 2. And it's like, I understand that, but he's also an interim head coach, and the team, just like we were just talking about with the Washington football team, doesn't have a great record. It's like that's one of those things where you can really reset an entire locker room. But then on the flip side, as soon as Deshaun Watson in the overtime period saw that the Titans won the coin toss, he knew that motherfucker was over. He was, which by the way might be why Romeo Cornell went for 2. He was like, hey, we cannot stop this Derrick Henry guy if he gets going. But I like whenever people go for the win, because a lot of coaches talk about emptying the barrel. We're going to empty the barrel. We're going to leave no guns left or no bullets left in the gun or whatever. Not a lot of coaches actually do that. So the coaches that go for it, I'm a fan of, even if it doesn't work. And hindsight's always 20/20, obviously.
Yeah, even if I'm watching a game, I'm a fan of them going for it and trying to get the win. But I'm also at the same time, I'm really nervous for them. If I try to put myself in their shoes as the head coach, I'm like, I'd probably just kick this thing and tie the game up.
See, not me. I would like the Titans kicking the extra point. I was even like, they should go for it. Go for 2 right there.
Derrick Henry.
What are we even doing here? You got 4 seconds left in the game. We can get a win. You shouldn't win this game, by the way. You should not win this game at all. By the way, if they do that, I don't cover on my Titans bet, so I'm thankful that they didn't. I'm thankful Vrabel didn't do that. But my immediate thought as soon as it happened was like, oh, go get the win right now. Why not? You have all the momentum. Go ahead and steal that thing. But they kick the extra point. Gostkowski puts it through. They go in overtime. Derrick Henry catches like a 70-yard swing pass, and then he's quarterback and just runs over everybody. Wild Tennessee Titans team. They're going to be very good for a long time, I think, with what they got building down there.
Yeah, and credit to Derrick Henry. Got a deal, and he's playing better than he did last year. 94-yard run yesterday. Are you kidding me? Like a dude that big can run away from the whole defense.
21.6 miles an hour he got up doing that.
And he said it's too slow in response to that as well.
He said it's too slow?
Yeah.
Wow. Mansouri was telling me that while I was saying that thing. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get faster now.
He scored a fucking touchdown.
Yeah.
What are we happy? What are we?
He thinks he should be faster.
He just thinks that he's too slow.
He's speeding in school zones.
Yeah. Someone should tell him to calm down.
I like it. I like that he expects that. Let's go to Dylan in Long Island. What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, what's going on, Pat, AJ, and the boys? How's this Monday going?
Hey, not too shabby. What do you want to talk about, brother?
So I don't think it's an overreaction to say that the Jets fucking stink. And a lot of us Jet fans want Eric Bieniemy to come in as head coach after Adam Gase. And I just wanted to ask, how much money do you think it would take for him to come from the best team in football to the worst team in football? And does drafting Trevor Lawrence first overall draw in more coaches?
Great question, Dylan. It's interesting because a lot of people are saying, well, Trevor Lawrence is going to try to pull an Eli Manning not to go to the Jets because the Jets are so bad or whatever. And I guess I guess you could think like that if you're a fan, but if you're going to be the number 1 overall pick, you're probably going to a shitty team anyways. Like that's why they have the number 1 overall pick. And also when it comes to coaches, same thing. Like they're not firing coaches that have a good team. So coaches know they're going to a bad team. So I think if somebody was able to get the head coaching gig for the Jets, especially with the potential opportunity for Trevor Lawrence sitting there, that's almost like a dream position for some coaches because you get a chance to have a guy, which everybody assumes Trevor Lawrence is going to be a guy. And if you win over there, Jets fans are going to be pumped. But is that franchise cursed? TBD, I think. TBD.
Well, if you're coaching or playing at a place like New York, like if you're Trevor Lawrence and you're saying, okay, if the Jets are number 1, is he going to try to get out of there? Well, the Jets are not the worst place you could go if you're thinking about normal like number 1 overall picks. Wouldn't it be a lot worse to go to a team that's terrible year after year and they don't have much of a fan base? At least New York, hey, if we win, they're going to be behind me. They'll be ride or die forever with me if I can win. Like look at Eli. He's got 2 Super Bowls for the Giants. It doesn't matter what else he did.
And I don't know what Trevor Lawrence is about clout-wise, but if you win in New York, you are king. Yeah. You are absolute king. You go right to the top of conversation.
You heard Sanchez? Didn't Sanchez go do like karaoke at some backdoor weird situation?
Whole team.
Whoa.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. What do you got, Connor?
Is Sam Darnold
like a special karaoke where you go upstairs at a bar and tell a story on your show?
Yeah. He told us a story about this restaurant he go to, and then after a certain time, the night would become karaoke, and you sit at the table and you sing from the table, and if you're bad, they mute you, and they let the backup singer sing it, and he just wanted to know if he was muted or not, and they said he wasn't. He could really sing, and we learned that with that baby alien on fucking Masked Singer.
Yeah, is Sam Darnold going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns next year?
Whoa. Wow, that's a great question, huh? The Browns potentially are looking for somebody, I guess. This is a prove-it year for Baker. Baker knows it. The Browns know it. Everybody knows it. After what happened yesterday with that Steelers defense, I don't think we can just judge because the Steelers defense is going to make a lot of people look average. But this is a big year for Baker, and who knows? The jury's still out, I'd assume, in Barry Court.
Well, he's got to be consistent. That's the thing. Like if you want to prove to us that you're our franchise quarterback, well, you need to consistently play well, and you never know. It seems like week to week what you're getting, not only with the whole Browns team, but also Baker Mayfield.
We have some update here on the Browns. Tight end David Njoku would like to get traded before the November 3rd deadline, per Mary Kay Cabot. The former first-round pick has only played in 3 games this season, has had 5 receptions for 63 yards and a touchdown. Is everything burning in Cleveland after a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers after a 4-1 start for the first time since 1971? Seems like it.
Same old Brownies. Year after year after year after year.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans are pumped about that, obviously. I don't know why, because I don't know.
Bring them in.
Stink.
Yeah, but David Njoku could end up at the New England Patriots.
Bring them in.
A lot of things could happen there. Today, our show is brought to you by the good people at Thursday Boot Company, a bootstrap startup that makes the best handcrafted boots and sells them direct to consumer at some of the lowest markups in footwear history. Thursday Boots' tagline is highest quality, honest prices because they use some of the best materials like full grain leather, supple glove leather lining, and gold standard Goodyear welt construction. Just like the legacy brands that charge $400 for similar styles, but Thursday Boot Company sells their boots at prices that start at just $149 with free shipping and free return. They've gotten over 20,000 5-star reviews, and it's time for you to see why. Right now, they have no sale or discount because the prices are too damn low to do that. Head to ThursdayBoots.com and get free shipping and free returns on boots that you will love for a long, long time. Shout out to Thursday Boots. Shout out to you. Overreaction Monday, October 9th is wrapping up here on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend. Mad Dog is next. Okay, AJ, the conversation around best 5-win quarterback in the NFL currently is one that's a little bit of a muddied water situation. I don't know if you got a chance to see Zito's poll earlier.
It was massive.
Zito, what's your poll again?
So who's the best 5-win quarterback in the NFL? Mr. Unlimited is leading at 58.8%. Big Ben, 15.7%. Ryan Tannehill, 13.3%. And Big Pole Foles, 12.2%.
Okay, so there's a lot of questions on this, AJ, because Big Pole Foles only has like 2 wins as a starting quarterback. Yeah. But he was on the team, and they have 5 wins, so it's all that. Russell Wilson, everybody says, is the guy out of this 5-win team list. Who do you think here is the guy, and which team out of these teams you think is going to make the longest run, AJ?
Ooh.
Great question you have there. I like the Steelers. I really do like the Steelers. I think the Seahawks and Steelers are my 2 teams there. And Tannehill, though, like if I was voting on this, it would be between Russell Wilson and Tannehill for me. Obviously, Ben is Ben. We know what he's going to get. I still think they can make a run. But I think Mr. Unlimited and Tannehill, I think Tannehill, if he can continue what he's doing, I mean, it's pretty remarkable what this guy's been doing so far. I think it goes under the radar.
Well, his stats that were tweeted about by, I think, Field Yates is just 15 regular season games, 309 of 443, almost 4,000 passing yards, 35 tuds, 7 interceptions, 258 rushing, 12 and 3. This is a full rebirth out from underneath the Adam Gase umbrella. And I wonder if you're the Jets, do you think about Sam Darnold at all? Like, because look what Adam Gase did to Ryan Tannehill in Miami. Yeah. Look what Adam Gase is doing to Sam Darnold right now. Do you think there's any chance where they're like, did we really give this guy any chance at all to be good? And then they're probably like, well, fuck it, Trevor Lawrence is available.
Who cares?
It's very interesting what they're going to have to do there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those numbers, Ryan Tannehill can point to those numbers and be like, you want to call me a game manager? If this is a game manager, great. Sign me up.
I hate the game manager thing. Everybody's a game manager.
Everybody is. That's your job. Find a way to manage the game to where we have more points than our opponent. Yeah.
Now, I guess the thought is like, well, Aaron Rodgers takes on a lot more responsibility on that offense because he's the guy that they circle, you have to stop here. And the Titans, it's like you got to stop Derrick Henry first. I can understand that. But if you're Ryan Tannehill with those stats, those numbers, Titans paid him $100 million, which nobody expected. You got to be feeling great. And Nashville, great city to be great in, by the way. Yeah. Great city to be great in. Good for him, man. What do you think, Aaron? What do you think that conversation with Aaron's going to go like tomorrow, AJ?
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fine. I've texted with him a little bit already. I think everything's good.
Whoa.
What did he say?
What did he say?
What did he say?
What's going on?
How's he feeling?
What's singing?
Oh, no. I texted him specific questions from plays that I saw in the game of like when he play in the first quarter, I has a little RPO and he pulls it and throws it to Devontae on a little slant. I just like to know like who he's reading and stuff.
Well, on RPO, you're reading the end first. That's your read key.
Get that?
Oh, are you?
Oh, that's not.
You had to ask.
Not on a run pass option. You don't read the end. You're reading like overhang players usually.
Oh, okay.
And the play I'm talking about is reading the boundary linebacker.
Oh, boundary linebacker. Okay, see, we just got the answer. I
love
that. I didn't think we were going to get the answer from you.
It's a basic thing. But
then why'd you ask?
Yeah, he didn't know.
Because I wanted to be 100% sure. I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure watching it, but you never truly know unless you go to the source.
You could have asked me. I would have told you, yeah, that's a pretty basic thing.
You already told me the end. You don't read the end on that.
But I'm just saying, I could have told you.
Zone read. If I'm a quarterback running the old school Vince Young zone read, my eyes are right on that end right there to see if he's coming down to take the dive and I pull it, or if he's going to slow play me or go upfield, then I give it.
What are some other basic questions you asked him that we got answers to? Anything good?
No.
Did you ask him about Ndamukong Suh? Was there any?
I didn't actually. No, I didn't. I mean, that's. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's ever like said anything about Ndamukong Suh, but we've had. The Green Bay Packers have had plenty of run-ins with Suh when he was in Detroit.
I'm going to have to ask tomorrow.
We need to find out.
Have to ask.
He would expect it.
Yeah, he knows it's coming. Maybe we should tip our capper now with everything that's coming.
Yeah, well, now he does.
Maybe.
Now he knows.
Ndamukong Suh, I'm asking about
what's coming? What else are you going to do?
3 pumps. You can't fucking do it. Can't do 3 pumps. Why do we even think that was okay? At what point did we think that was okay?
Guys don't like that.
You know, one thing that I saw in his post-game comments, and I didn't talk to him about it, he said, like, I felt like the week of practice, we weren't really we weren't really gelling. It wasn't like the rhythm we want. We didn't have the energy we usually have. He said, we went outside, practice in the windy conditions and all this, and just couldn't really get it going. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's just taking a shot at LaFleur, making you go outside and practice in the cold and windy weather when we're going to be playing in Tampa and it's 85 and sunny.
And we have a large indoor because this is Green Bay that we could maybe even turn up the humidity.
Yeah, just crank it up.
Crank it up, thing maybe we get used to. We will ask him about that. Good call. Hey, see, I like what you did there.
Yeah, good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Overreaction Monday, October 19th. We have Hammer Don, which is, by the way, giving out winners at this point. Hammer Don comes in 29 minutes. We'll see you back here at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. And massive breaking news here. One of McAfee's million, the $100,000 giveaway we're giving to YouTube subscribers that are watching currently right now will be officially announced. The winners will officially be announced Friday.
Wow.
This Friday, we will know who we are giving the $100,000 to. Believe it or not, we did not expect the amount of humans to enter that entered. We have 1 million subscribers. It felt like damn near all of them entered this thing. So now we have to get everybody's name into a pile to randomly select the winners and everything like that. So we've been trying our best to make it happen as fast as possible. We feel like Feel Good Friday is the right time to announce that. We can't wait for it. AJ, any final words for the people?
I think I'm good. 2 Monday night games. I'm excited.
Let's go. We'll overreact to both of them tonight. You have the Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Yes, I do.
I have the Cardinals.
Ooh, I like that.
What's that? What'd you say?
What's that?
I didn't say anything.
There you go. Oh, okay.
I'm not picking the other game. I'm just going to watch it. I'm just going to enjoy
Why not?
it. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Sometimes you just want to be a fan.
I just want to be a fan. I just want to kind of watch the game, enjoy the game.
I think right now you should pick who's going to win the NBA championship next year.
That's easy.
Okay, no problem. Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis has already said that he is opting back into the Lakers. He's not taking his player option to get out of there. Is that the honeymoon phase after winning a championship? What Chris Jones did with Kansas City Chiefs, where he said he doesn't care, he wants to come back, and then he opted to, he said he was going to hold out, then they signed him to big money. Is Anthony Davis going to grow out of this honeymoon phase after winning the championship, get around business people and say, no, we need to go, and not go back to the Lakers? That is a big part of the decision. But if he's back, LeBron's back, and if they bring back J.R. Smith, which I hope happens, I'm on the Lakers next year for sure. Lock it in.
He's coming home.
Sorry I asked, for sure.
He's not coming home.
How about the World Series? It's happening. Did you know that? The World Series is happening right now?
Yes, I am somewhat aware of that, yeah.
So, heartbreaker for the Atlanta Braves.
Crushing.
Absolute heartbreaker. They didn't know how to run the bases, and a fucking double play happened, and everybody says, wow, how did this team get here? And everybody's like, nobody knows. They got hot wood at a time that you needed it. But the Dodgers last night, Mookie Betts, I cannot believe that guy got out of Boston. The plays he's been making, and then whenever you talk about
Bellinger.
One of the smoothest swings in all of baseball last night, 7th inning, took it to Ponton, really locked that thing home for the Dodgers. And when you talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, this team has the deepest bullpen that MLB has. They got a lot of pitchers. They're just throwing juice after juice after juice. And since the beginning of this whole thing, we've been saying Tampa Bay Rays, most talented bullpen, probably going to make a run at this thing. And whenever we talk about the Dodgers, we say this is the best team in their particular league as well. They're probably going to make a run. Baseball isn't always predictable, but with these two ball clubs, we kind of knew what was coming because they got good wood. They got incredible golden gloves all over the fucking diamond, and we are in for a show here in this particular World Series, and this is why baseball is awesome.
Yeah, well said. Also, keep in mind, it doesn't matter. Not a real season, so really whoever wins don't mean shit.
That's the show. Have a good day. Hammered down 25 minutes.
I like Pittsburgh a lot. I think